the cancer of
fire for your mind
are not anywhere near
mission.
Black men are not anywhere near the cancer of our community. We did not create slavery. We did not create redlining. We didn't create mass incarceration, underfunded schools, the wage gap, bank deserts, food deserts. We did not create this media machine that keeps people like Andy Cohen and Leor Cohen and let's see here, Jimmy Iovine in the billions. So I'm not going to report for duty, respectfully, under a lie. I'll report for duty to build. I'll report for duty to lead. I'll report for duty to correct men who are wrong. I will report for duty to protect women and children. I will report to duty to rebuild families and confront broken systems. When we have people like David, when we have people like R. Kelly, when we have people like Diddy, I condemn that situation immediately. But I also condemn Clive Davis. I also condemn Leor Cohen. I also condemn Andy Cohen, Scooter Braun, and everybody who is in charge of perpetuating this thug, gangster, nonsensical mythos of black men that becomes the standard as opposed to the exception, while also elevating a soft beta male simp mangina mentality that does not serve us when it comes to our communities and would not be tolerated in anybody else's community.
Because black, then your consciousness is of one thing. I don't associate with somebody who does to Negroes. I don't deal with them because their consciousness is not black. I don't agree with them because I believe that you can't have a black community unless black men are leading their communities. But when you got a generation of women who conspire with liberal white women, they conspire with maladaptive policies. We're in the situation that we're in now because of that. And when things happen, you have these people that have this pro-black ideology. I call it static blackness. And the presumption is that just because your skin color is black, your consciousness got to be black. But here's the problem with that, DJ Hamp. Black people were never won in Africa.
Should men fight in social and communal wars? When voluntary servitude undermines heteronormative masculinity, here's why it never works.
And that's not true. Manospheres are from different backgrounds, different worldviews. One of the premises of my channel is that whereas men, we don't agree on all things or ideologies, but we come together as allies of a common cause, only to dissipate when the crisis is over. Black men did create the crisis in America. White liberalism, black women drinking the Kool-Aid created the crisis. And now, because of the state of the world that we're in, everybody tend to assume and associate false narratives associated with, loose black men that were invisible to those same women in the past. And so now the premise is, I don't know if you heard about this homosexual guy denigrating black men and saying black men are the part of the problem. And really that's a cognitive distortion in the clinical, because it's all predicated in something called overgeneralization.
And gentlemen, it has now come to the time that we have a conversation. I've been saying for years on this show that black men need to have a conversation, black men alone. We have got to figure out what is going on with us. This is not something that black women can help us with. This conversation does not include black women. Black women stand down and stand to the side. Black men need to have a kumbaya amongst themselves, and I'm gonna niche this out a little more. And it's heterosexual black men. I'm gonna catch a lot of flack for this, but I'm gonna say it out loud with my whole chest. Straight black men are the cancer of the black community. That's where it starts and that's where it stops. Ladies, I'm here to tell y'all something. All this shit that y'all got going on, some of y'all, not all of y'all, with the gays and with the trans, let it go. Your issue is not a trans woman. Your issue is not a punk or not a sissy. Your issue is all of our issue. Straight black men. Straight black men are the enemy to the gays. Straight black men are the enemy to the trans. Straight black men are who are causing harm to the girls and the women. That's where it's at. Now y'all can shoot the messenger. Y'all can call me all type of faggots on the Shade Room and all the other blog sites that's gonna pick this up and I'll eat it. But you'll never see a situation where girls and women walking around saying they scared of the gay boys. They scared of their life for the gay boys. They don't want to be around the gay boys. It ain't nothing. Tasha K, we've been good since Spoon's wedding. Somehow or another, you got a wild hair up your ass and decided, let me pick shit with Funky Dineva. And why? When people can't access you physically, they will try to access your emotions. Try to keep my peace with you, okay? But Tasha K, I want you to know this, and you can put this on record, okay? You can put this on record. The next time I publicly see you, I am going to walk up to you and I'm going to the shit out of you, and then I'm already just throw my setup and be ready to f your husband. And the sad part about it is I actually like your husband a lot. I have no problems with your husband. You, on the other hand, Tasha, you the same raggedy bitch that every time you see.
So Atlanta people, how come every time somebody driving crazy, it's somebody with a Florida?
You don't talk like that, nigga. Put some goddamn bass in your voice.
Straight black men are a cancer to the black community.
Straight black men are the cancer of the black community.
Black men are the cancer of the black community. The comment that I dropped was that I agree and reporting for duty.
I understand why my name wasn't mentioned.
It was recently brought to my attention that some dude obviously looking for attention, so I won't mention his name.
And honestly, I appreciate it, because what that tells me is this. There's an awareness that if black people are directed to my platform, they're going to encounter something very different from the typical conversation.
What makes our country great and what we learned coming out of Vietnam is that we have a stronger military when it's voluntary, not a draft. I'm down for service when I choose it, not when it's imposed on me. Okay? I'm down to sign up and serve when the cause is right, when I feel compelled in my soul to sign up, but not when it's imposed from top down in a draconian net to serve those who would mock me, to serve those who wouldn't piss on me, to put me out if I was on fire.
You take a small sample size of black men that are complicit in the problems in the black community, and you falsely equivocate all black men with those issues. And that's a false assumption, because most black men are not complicit in that nonsense. Black men didn't create the manosphere. Liberal dogmas create the manosphere, and black men began to come together trying to find answers and solutions. Now look at it on the bell curve. On the average, most black men are centrists. Look, they're right in the center. They're average. These decent black dudes. Do you have some outliers at extreme? Sure. That's a small percentage. But then you got those that excel. But, you know, you've got Manosphere 1, Manosphere 2, Manosphere 3, Manosphere 4. But we're like denominations. We're like, it's no different than the Crips and the Bloods that we were talking about a minute ago. The Crips and the Bloods are black, but they're not from the same conscious tribe. So people always make these false assumptions just because your skin color is black, then your consciousness is of one thing. I don't associate with something.
Fire for your mind. Kosher Clinician.
If If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues, absent fathers who miss you, mama drama don't kiss you, all a part of the ritual, this is how they get you, separate the men, women, clipping babies pretend to, damn, lovers, haters, acting like vultures, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen.
All right, guys, thank you for the 25 that are watching. We're going to have a great show on today. Shout out to everyone that's tuned in. Shout out to my brother, A Peaceful Life. Go check that brother out, man. Doing awesome content, doing phenomenal work, giving a lot of brothers fire game like myself. And go check that brother out, guys. But we're going to get into it. It's going to be a great show. And this show more or less harkens into a conversation that was done recently between the guy, Dontre Whitfield, and also some of the guests on, I think, Dave Anderson and Obsidian, Mamiya Ali, and Ask a Brother podcast. But more or less, I was on Dave's channel. I was looking at some of his work, and I happened to see some of this, and also some of the clips from Obsidian. And I got real creative with this particular topic, guys, because the topic is Semper versus AWOL. And I did it intentionally by using the word semper, not semper, because semper means simping, Semper Fi. Instead of simplify in the Marines. You know, black men are expected to go to a war they never created and to fix things that are out of their control and also to fix things outside of their purview. And so we're going to have a very powerful conversation on today, guys. Make sure you share the stream, donate to the channel, and happy Mother's Day to all the women that are honorable women that love their husbands, love their fathers, love their brothers. Shout out to those women. And also, guys, make sure you protect the honorable women that protect you, because your service is not free, and you should never give your masculinity away in the context of voluntary servitude. So we're going to get ready to kill it, me, my man, Peaceful Life, guys. And let's get into it. Let me play this theme real quick, and we're going to get into it. And we're going to break this thing down in a few minutes, because you guys know what the drill is, and we're about to kill it. Hold tight. 17 minutes after the hour, 7 o'clock, got my man Peaceful Life in the house. We're going to have a powerful show once again. Why voluntary servitude never works because of this. Enjoy the show, guys, and let's have a conversation. Bringing it to you live once again from the greatest state in the Union, the Tar Heel State, where the topography is serene, pristine, and verdant green, where every day is Father's Day, and where manhood is part of hills and valleys, victories and failures, and whereas men, we don't agree on all things or ideologies, but tonight we come together as allies of a common cause, only to dissipate once the crisis is over. Now listen, I'm about to drop some fire for your mind. But before I drop that fire, let's explore why we are doing the Manhood Chronicles. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. I got my man Peaceful Life in the house, guys, and we're going to kill it. But before we get into it, guys, I want you to look at this thumbnail, and I created a new term. And, you know, people love to steal your ideas. So if you guys ever hear this term, you know that I was the first one that created it. But it's called AWOL. And AWOL is an acronym for American Women Offer Less. And AWOL is also synonymous to the military, because often in America, black men, white men, men in general, are asked to serve in a war that they never created, but also to serve in a war where they have no power. And there was a song back in the 70s called, or the 60s called War. What is the cause for? Absolutely nothing. And so AWOL is a new term that I created. American women offer less. And then more or less premise, the basic premises of AWOL is that I didn't leave my post. I left the battlefield to no longer serve my passion. AWOL isn't running. It's about men reclaiming their power. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my man Peaceful Life on. We're going to break down this concept together, a new term that I created, because it's fitting. It makes a lot of sense. Because when you are a soldier in a war, your mandate is not to serve or give your servitude away voluntarily without demanding something in return. True heteronormative masculinity does not give its power away for free. It demands something. And the only time men give their power away is when those women are under their structure, under their guidance, and also under their authority. But they never give it away for free. So without further ado, my man Peaceful Life, we're going to chop it up a little bit. He's in the background. But what do you think about the concept Peaceful Life, AWOL? This is a new term that I created because you know I'm kosher. I'm going to always keep it kosher, man. And it stands for American Women Offer Less. It's the new mid-toe because there are people, Peaceful Life, that are expecting men to serve. And some people have told black men that, Dontre Whitfield say that every man ain't built for this. But I will argue that every man ain't built for simping because men are getting tired of being simps. I call it simplify versus AWOL. So what do you think about the concept, man? What do you think about the concept? And how are you doing, by the way, brother?
Hey, salute to you, man, and happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful, beautiful mothers out there, and your mother, of course, and all the mothers of the gentlemen that are tuning in today. I think it's absolutely excellent. The idea, of women offering less, and especially modern women,
right?
But society still holding men to these traditional standards is absolute insanity for women that don't even respect manhood, masculinity, or anything of a traditional nature. It is absolutely ridiculous, to be honest with you. To think about it in that terms, these conversations, and I noticed, and you've noticed, and we've talked about it, we always talk about what men are supposed to be for everybody else, what men are supposed to do.
Yes,
the
sir.
measure of manhood, masculinity, male sacrifice, how masculinity should be measured or used or purposed. But never, ever, ever, ever do we really have deep dialogue of what's the feminine burden of perform. What should they bring to the table? What should they be?
Right.
Are they supposed to be worthy of receiving? What are they supposed to do to be worthy of being under the cover or the leadership of a man? And that's never really discussed.
Right. And you're 100% correct, man. And I stand on what I say. And I'm going to give you a synopsis because true masculinity does not serve without getting something in return. And I came up with the word AWOL, American women offer less, because they do offer less, and less is expected of them. And therefore, in behavioral modification of Peaceful Life, when you give people your power without demanding something in return, then it's no longer relationship symmetry. Some say that you should give because that's what men do. No. That's compromised masculinity. Compromised masculinity does not give its power away for free. Because Frederick Douglass said that power never conceded to nothing without a struggle. There's a struggle going on in these relationships in modern times. And we see it in the clinical world where you look at the guy, I can't think of his name, Stephon Diggs was falsely accused of domestic abuse. He could have lost all his livelihood. He could have been severely impacted. And I'm going to break down parenthetically the fallacy and the notion that these women are our women. Once again, shout out to all the virtuous, honorable, noble women that love, respect, and honor their husbands, their fathers, and also their brothers and their sons. My heart goes out to you, ladies. Salute to you. But simplify is the term that I created also, as well as AWOL. And simplify is not the same as S-I-M-P-E-R-fy. Simplify in the Marines mean faithful and truth, always faithful and true. But you can't give your power away for free. Because let me tell you something, a peaceful life. You know and I know that masculinity is expensive. It's not cheap. And I'm going to prove to you throughout the annals of history and also what the men of the past did, that men never gave their power away for free, because in true relationship symmetry, there has to be positive reinforcement. And so when people keep asking black men of these foolish demands that, you know, men should step up just because, that's a fool. That's like asking a man that doesn't protect and provide for his woman and asking her to step up and be nurturing and kind just because. That's enabling and reinforcing bad behavior. How would you respond to that?
Well, I totally agree with it, but the fundamental issue is we're dealing with a certain type of, you talked about projection before.
Right.
And many times we're dealing with men who don't have power in their own home.
That's it. They don't have power in their home. That's exactly what it is.
And
right.
What they're doing is they're trying to grab masculinity by the bullhead, redefined it in some, it's almost like sim tap dancing, whereas, you know, they're going to try and become this super accommodating masculine man, which is basically when we talk about, they talk about leading by example, or I don't tell my woman what to do, or things of that nature, to try to water down leadership and make it all about men overperforming, just overly compensating and holding women to no standard or burden of performance at all.
Right.
It is this perverted form of just basically, it's really you know, crawling on your knees and bowing down to every whim of the woman, because we're dealing with a lot of men that come from matriarchal culture,
right,
doing everything possible to accommodate women, not being held to any standard or not even being asked to be worthy of anything.
Well, listen, I appreciate that, John Smith, with that 5, man. Yeah, I'm about to get that branded, because you know you got a lot of dusty people to steal your ideas, man. Won't give you credit. That's a term I created, AWOL, and it stands for American Women Offer Less, and it's synonymous to the concept also of men going their own way. And listen, I'm not against love, a peaceful life. I'm not against relationships, but I do believe that if you're going to be in a relationship, you got to come in that relationship having some power. Shout out to my man, also Black Man Unfiltered. How you doing, brother? Shout out to him. But when I heard, I was looking at Dave Anderson, I was looking at some of the clips by Obsidian on his channel, and when I saw that, I was somewhat perturbed by it, because it seemed like it was a psyop conversation. It seems like it was a psyop. And I know, and you know, that you worked in law enforcement. I worked in law enforcement. Right. And what I've learned, Peaceful Life, is that you can't have a strong community, you can't have a structured community if you don't have discipline. You got to be disciplined first. Right. Any profession that you go into, you got to have discipline. Would you agree with that?
Totally agree.
So after discipline comes structure, after structure comes order, after order comes provision and protection. Would you agree with that?
Totally agree.
So when you got discipline, the woman, it's incumbent upon the woman to be disciplined first. And the conversation that females versus women is really a non sequitur to some degree. And what I mean by that is that even if you are talking about women versus females, I would argue that a larger populace of women in modern time are women versus females. There are some good, females versus women. Shout out to the good women that are genuine women that are trying. Shout out to good women that are trying. Shout out to the good women. But it's a small number. I had a conversation with Maggie, the substitute teacher, Peaceful Life. Right. And she said that in her wife class, she said it was only a small percentage of women that qualified as wives or were consistent with going to wife school. And I came up, like I said, with the acronym AWOL because men are going their own way And AWOL in the military stands for absence without leave. Basically, men are saying, I'm not asking no permission. I'm checking out. I'm gone. Because it's a lot of labor and intensity in dealing with someone that does not honor you, respect you, and obey your leadership. You know, it's so bad now, a piece of life telling somebody to obey them. It's almost like some form of sacrilege. How would you respond to that?
Absolutely. And again, it's almost, you're basically Mr. from the color purple. Mm-hmm. You're wrenching the word submission or obey. Or are they going to put some type of transactional standard upon that? You paying all their bills and paying for this and paying for their, you know, even if they have kids or whatever else, they want you to sponsor it. It's all transactional in that conversation.
Right.
But the reality of it is that when you listen to these guys, and you know, they don't even, if you try to create a conversation of any type of female responsibility or obligation to receive traditional masculine benefit, what you end up with is a situation where these types of men, they're going to double down on this hyper masculinity talk to distract you from holding women to account. Well, then you're talking about, then it's because of who you choose, or
right.
They're going to switch the goalposts and move it around because they don't have the ability, or they're afraid of holding women to any standard because one, they would lose their audience, they would lose money.
Right.
They're afraid of, and many of them are just afraid of women. They're afraid of the repercussions or the backlash they would get from matriarchal culture, and they focus it beaming light on men and just going at men. This is why we talked about it before, why so many men left the church. Mm-hmm. Because every Sunday and every Wednesday, the pastor's beating down on men and male responsibility, and the pews is being loaded with baby mamas and retired 304s, and there's no accountability. So they don't even require women to be good people, because everything will be.
Look at this. People like, look at this, man. Tammy said, obey, and and guess what? Tammy's proving our point.
But expect men to go out there and die for them.
Right. Tammy, thank you, Tammy, for saying that. I appreciate it, Tammy, because Tammy is proving our point. Black men are no longer, and white men ain't putting their lives on the line if you're not going to obey their leader, obey them and honor them. No. She's proving my point. And so I respect this man named Dontre Whitfield, but his worldview is highly compromised, because this is what you're dealing with now, Peace of Life. You're dealing with compromised men and defective women. And I'm going to break that down parenthetically in a minute. Right. And all this nonsense about they're your women, they're not your women.
No.
They don't belong to you. They belong to the government.
And they're government women.
They're government women. They don't belong to you. because for this woman to say this, and she's proving our point. Listen, you tell me a war where soldiers going to fight and put their lives on the line, and they're not going to get any service back in return, which is obedience. Listen, you and I both got a law enforcement background. Is that true?
Yeah.
If you are called to service as a commissioned officer, or as a police, or in the Army or the Marines, you better do something as well. You better serve. You better obey.
Oh, absolutely.
You better obey the chain of command. If you don't obey your chain of command, guess what? You get kicked out. They're not going to put their lives on the line for disobedient soldier. But see, it's gotten so bad now, Peaceful Life, that so many men have been compromised. They don't even use husband and wife no more. They use the word partner, because see, partner is a way of simplifying true heteronormative masculinity. That's why these women struggle with the word, right? That's why they struggle with the word wife. Because see, when you say wife means that you're the leader and she follows your leadership. It doesn't mean she don't have autonomy. Right. It doesn't mean that sometimes you don't defer, but it means that she follows you if she wants your provision and your protection. But when Dontre Whitfield, and I don't have nothing against the guy, I don't even know him, came up with his fallacious assumption, and this is no disrespect to him, that real men or all men ain't built for this. He's right. I'm not gonna simp. Because I'd rather go AWOL than to be part of what's called Semper Fi. And you got a lot of men caught up in Semper, not Semper, because Semper Fi means for truth and service always, not Semper Fi. And basically his talking point is tied to men being simps and men giving their service away for free. You can't expect men to go into service and fight for people that don't honor them, respect them, and obey them. And I'm gonna break it down in a couple of minutes. I'm gonna show you parenthetically what I mean by this. Let me show you something. Hold tight. When you look at this Semper Fi versus AWOL, this is psychological suicide, brother. This is psychological suicide because I want you to look at carefully the clip art that I created and tell me what you see or what message I'm trying to convey. Peaceful life based on what you see. Tell me what you see. Look at it carefully though. And tell me what you see from the left side to the right side to the left side, and also in the middle. Tell me what you see. Because I did that intentionally.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the uniform difference in that.
Right. Well, yeah, look at it carefully and tell me what you see.
Oh no, just the difference in the service level, and also to, you know, obviously, yeah, you can tell that. I mean, Brother Obsidian is wearing a commander type get up.
I'm gonna tell you what's deeper than that.
Go ahead.
The red overlay from Obsidian symbolizes being red pilled.
Right.
The pink overshadow around Dontre Whitfield symbolizes gynocracy. That's what it symbolizes.
Oh, you talk a lot. He matriarchal male.
Right. So the shallow of him, his shallow is tied to a gynocentric worldview. Obsidian is tied into a red pill worldview. Meg the Stallion is tied to blue pill. They expect men to be blue pill simps. And my job as a therapist is to diagnose and break it down, because I'm in the background analyzing everything.
Right.
And that's why I came up with Semper Fi versus AWOL, because the pink pill and the pink overlay symbolizes gynocratic thought. Red pill means to say, I'm not going to give my power away from free. That's AWOL. And that's why I did it intentionally like that. Because for too long, Black men are giving their power away for free. And once again, AWOL, as it relates to women, let me read it real quick, then we're going to get deep into it. AWOL means to remove AWOL is absent without leave. You remove yourself from a system that no longer serves your peace, purpose, or priorities. What do you think about that?
I totally agree. And I talk about it all the time on the channel, because at the end of the day, you know, you want masculinity without offering anything from the female side to be worthy of that masculine sacrifice that comes with what men have to do to have a family, to have kids. Or you expect men to protect women who basically hate men, despise them, disrespect them, and think very little of them. And that's just an altruistic mentality of just self-sacrifice. You're just basically your disposable tampon. And that's why I talk about a lot on my channel, about the idea, the mentality of men supposed to be these droids, these mindless droids, just putting themselves on the line for women or communities or people who don't even like them.
Right.
I won't do anything for them.
Right. And so AWOL is the new MGTOW. Men aren't just walking away from marriage, they're walking away from engagement, entitlement, and emotional extortion. You and I often talk about Scott Galloway, and I'm gonna get into that in a minute.
That guy.
We talk about Scott Galloway. Modern women in the problem. Many modern women prioritize attention, validation, and options over loyalty, partnership, and growth. I don't like that word partnership, but what do you think about that?
Well, absolutely. And even when you add in their social media, because that's a whole big thing now. But absolutely, the man himself, and I made this statement before, and I know a lot of men it's kind of, most married men now, not all, there's an exception of masculine brothers like yourself, they're ranked behind the dog in the house in terms of their own, the way they're treated, their own respect in that environment. They're literally living a cucked life. unfortunately. And then you see guys like Whitfield. Whitfield is the ultimate matriarchal male type guy, because whatever he has a conversation, it always reverts back to what men's supposed to be doing.
Right.
Any inclination of giving orders as a leader is revert back to, oh, I lead by example, which is true. You're supposed to, because a good leader leads by example, but he also leads by command and authority.
Right. Listen. You're 100% correct. Good men lead by examples when they control their environment.
Right.
Good men don't lead when they don't have no control of their environment, and when the environment that is not pouring in and giving back as well. Being a servant leader, their expectation is discipleship. Would you agree with that? If you're a servant leader, part of that is also being a student of the master or the master teacher. Would you not agree with that?
Totally.
Because you're not going to do service to the master teacher while the master teacher is giving you service by humbling himself, then it's a defective mission. And that's why I say you got a bunch of compromised men and you got a bunch of defective women. I'm going to break it down, because let's say if Dontre Whitfield's intention was right, his methodology was highly flawed because he doesn't understand clinical concepts. He doesn't understand behavior modification, and he does not understand systems. He doesn't understand how systems work. And we're going to break it down in a minute. So you protect your purpose. You walk away from what weakens you. You build a life that honors you and your legacy over likes, purpose, and pleasure. And that's what true masculinity does, man. It's willing to walk away. It's willing to walk away, and it's willing to demand something in return. And if it doesn't get what it's looking for, guess what? It just walks off into perpetuity. That's why I came up with the new term AWOL. AWOL, because what's going on now is simplify. Simplify. Just give those servers away for free. Just give those servers away for free, Roger. Go ahead, brother.
No, and I was thinking about it, the rise of these matriarchal males and the jellyback simps, I call them. And Whitfield is one of them. He particularly panders to a community that runs on feelings, just like the pastors do now, just like all these other podcasters. They pander to a community.
They pander.
Yes.
Feelings. Right.
And what they've gotten real good at is word salad.
Word salad, right.
Manipulation. When they really cannot say or hold the women accountable, or they won't make any money, they can't say anything that's may come across as patriarchal leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is easy to do is to keep doubling down or projecting on this masculinity thing. Oh, well, this is what's supposed to be the man. This is what a man's supposed to do. You're supposed to be a leader. Oh, you just pick wrong. Everything is a circular conversation around manhood, male responsibility, and what men's supposed to be doing for everybody else.
Right.
And nothing about what he's supposed to be receiving.
Right.
Or whether people are even, and again, we're talking about 2026. And he's talking about a world of the early 1900s. The world has completely changed. These women have ran programs. They've advocated in every ounce of their being to create a world where they don't have to listen to men.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. And then on the flip side, they're still expecting men just to give voluntary servitude. That's why I said voluntary servitude never works. It never works because back in the 80s, back in the 70s, the song was war. What is the cause for peaceful life? Absolutely nothing.
Right.
No man is going to put his life on the line if he's not getting nothing in return. Think about the veterans, man, that go and put their lives on the line for America and how many times they're not honored. Once again, this is Mother's Day. But on Mother's Day, all the restaurants are filled up, peaceful life.
Right.
All the restaurants venerate moms and they venerate women. But when Father's Day comes, guess what happens? Guess what happens when Father's Day comes, man?
Crickets.
It's crickets. No honor, no respect, no nothing. And the woman named Tammy, shout out to Tammy because Tammy proved my point. She proved my point as to why men are saying enough is enough. she proved my point because she got triggered. Don't you know there are women now that if you use the word obey, it triggers them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They don't want to hear nothing about being submissive or obeying their husbands. But yet these are the same women, peaceful life, that call themselves Christians.
Oh yeah, they're in church now, and again, but the problem is that the church and Christianity has been hijacked by these women who are trying to, one, I say religious their way into a long-term relationship or marriage with a man, because they're going to say, okay, or erase their past. They're going to say, well, I want to live a righteous, godly life, and I've been celibate for 1 year and going to church, and Christ has cleansed me of all that heavy, vigorous pounding of the past. And if you're a godly man, you should want to make an honest woman out of me, despite the fact that you're a guy number 45. And you know what I mean? Like, and that's the way to muscle men, because I did the video the other day by Clay Thompson. Clay Thompson was a destroyer of hope. He took away hope. That means that he would have validated that you could be a 3 or 4 your whole life, and get with a 1% man. So when he destroyed hope, I always say these women are gonna have to double down on religion. How are you gonna get that ball into the end zone? Religion is the Hail Mary now. So you're gonna have to use religion to raise to get men to sign up for marriage MSRP on these women, because again, a lot of them have mismanaged their youth. They bought into the feminism, the sexual liberation, as opposed to making marriage the first stop on the life's railway, or the sexual liberation railway. Marriage should be the first stop. They made marriage the last stop. So how do you get them into the end zone? You use religion. Religion is the weapon now. Religion is going to be the huge weapon that's going to be used 2026, 2027 and beyond, because of the economy, the way the economy is right now. I mean, this shit is, stuff is, I'm sorry, but stuff is high, man.
It's high, man. It's high. It's high, peaceful life. It's extremely high.
You have to use whatever you got to use to get these dudes in a relationship.
Man, listen, man.
Dudes ain't coming from a relationship like that.
Listen, man. My wife, I've been with my wife for 30 years, man. And we had our ups and downs like any couple. But guess what? She's happy. Because she's in good shape. A lot of these chicks gonna be in bad shape, man.
Man, these dudes ain't trying to sign up for that relationship.
They're not trying to sign up for it. And listen, it doesn't mean that you and I are against relationships. I'm not against relationships. You're not against a relationship.
We're just against scammers.
Right. We're not against relationships. But I don't believe in love for the sake of love. I do believe in love for the sake of a principle. And if
they're looking for love, or they're looking for money.
Right. Well, they're probably looking for both.
They're looking for money. Let's assume they're looking for love.
Right. They're probably looking for both.
Money. That's the other guy. If she wouldn't have dated you when she was 22, 23 and hot, and she over 30, the missing ingredient is your money.
Right.
That's what's missing. It ain't you. Don't even get delusional about it. The missing ingredient is your money.
Right.
Well, why else would she want to be bothered with you?
Right. Let me read the super chat real quick. Peace of life. Shout out to KP for KC5. He said, "Daddy government has kicked Keisha out." He's right. Yeah. They must find their way in the wild. The symptoms of a simp must be broken down. The fight to be a septavius continues. Those are the symptoms of a simp. Shout out to my man, my brother Wade Johnson. That's my dog. He said, Whitfield aligns with Cheyenne Bryan. He holds her in high esteem. If you hold Cheyenne Bryan in high esteem, then that proved to me everything I need to know about this dude.
She's got a falling out with the sisters now. They mad at her now. So.
Well, of course they mad at her. Yeah. And listen, once again, I don't have nothing against Dontre Whitfield. I don't even know him. I think he's an actor, but nothing against him. But his methodology is a flawed methodology. And I'm going to break it down in a few minutes to prove my point. John Smith said, Tammy shows an issue of the community, a group of Keishas who want to do what they want to do, but shocked by predictable chaos that results. Yeah, they're shocked.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And this person said, it doesn't even matter, leave American women alone. And that's why I came up with the acronym AWOL. American women offer less. They offer less. They offer less. Tammy proved our point. Shout out to Tammy. Nothing against Tammy. She proved our point. KP from KC Foster, never house a stray. IYKK. I don't know what that stands for. IYKYK. And shout out to my man.
Top Gun, salute, my brother.
Shout out to Top Gun, man. He said salute, brothers, no doubt. Let me show you something, man. A piece of life. I'm gonna show you something, brother. Because Leslie Jones proves my point. But look at this moose. But hold on. Let me show you something. Hold on.
Leslie tells women to rebel, and the internet went crazy when she said this.
A powerful man.
I do.
So a dominant to your submissive.
I'm not submissive.
Could you be a trad wife is what I'm asking.
Trad wife meaning like I'd be at home and take, no.
Like making Oreos from scratch.
I don't, absolutely not.
Why not?
Because that's not who the I am. And my daddy didn't raise me like that.
To be a trad wife.
To be anybody's wife. My dad used to literally say that to me. I didn't raise you to be somebody's wife.
Better for worse.
For better.
Now, piece of life, if you know, you know. Okay, got you, brother. Thank you. Leslie Jones, Tammy, and many modern women prove our point about AWOL and why we can't be complicit and simplify. You got men in their own marriages, homes, where their wives don't even honor them. They don't honor them, they don't respect them, they don't obey them. And that was the gold standard back in the past. But you want black men, just because their skin color is black, peaceful life, they give their time, their attention, their power, their money, their resources, and their life to disobedient women. Now, I'm going to prove to you that nowhere in the annals of history, nowhere in the Bible, nowhere in any psychological situation should a man sacrifice his power and his masculinity just for the cause of being black. That makes no sense. And I'm going to prove it to you in a few minutes. Hold tight.
Worse. For richer, for poorer.
For richer, for poor.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
To love.
To love.
Cherish.
Cherish.
And obey. To love.
To love.
Cherish.
Cherish.
And obey.
No, hold on. Now you see that piece of like she's struggling, but Dontre Whitfield said that men should go back, and part of being men is just to do it anyway, because just to do it anyway because that's the right thing, and that's not true. That's not a proper methodology for masculinity, right. Because masculinity is based on principles. Healthy masculinity is based on principles, it's based on expectations, and it's based on demands. If you're not willing to do that, then you don't get provision. And once again, I'm going to prove it to you in a minute. Hold tight.
I'm not saying that word.
Say it.
I'm not saying that word. I'm not obeying anybody. I don't obey anybody, especially him. So you can continue without that word. Cherish.
Now imagine this. Now Dr. Whitfield said lead by example. Now the way he lead by example, model by example, before you get married, just to walk away. He should have left that heifer at the altar.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And walked away. But watch this. There are two times peaceful life when you model the behavior you want to see. You model it when you're in a controlled environment. And so the best way to model that is with a woman that honors you, respects you, and obeys your leadership. And you honor and you model that by showing her what you expect from her in the relationship, because you teach people who you are and you teach people how to treat you. But the next way, what a true masculine man does, that's an AWOL, what he does is that he just walks away. He don't even argue with her. He models his masculinity by just walking away. How would you respond to that? And before you tell me, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
Mm-hmm. The fact that in this particular situation, there's so many problems and so many issues with this brother from the beginning. We know what she is, but to get to this level, that just shows that there's something just horribly wrong. Go ahead, brother. I was just thinking that. How did he get to what type of simping? Couldn't he just tell that this is the most masculine, aggressive, the level of that some black men will accept of of what they would consider to be a tolerable female in their life, the mediocrity of the level of women that they will accept just to say that they have a woman. That's the shame that really, because we have to improve on some of the brothers' standards for what they select in women, but the level of disrespect that they will accept is what's really disturbing in this whole clip. Go ahead, brother.
Okay.
I'm not obeying nobody. I'm not saying that word. You think I am about to start my life off obeying a man? Never. I'm not obeying anybody.
Say it, girl.
So we can continue. We can continue without me saying that word.
All right, so
shit.
It's
been out of there. What spell does she have on him? I don't know. What the hell
I don't know. Well. Listen. That's why I'm gonna break down to you why you got a lot of defective men. I mean, defective women and compromised men, and I'm gonna prove it to you in a minute. But let's look at this clip. I'm gonna show you something. Let's look at this clip. Actually, let's look at this first. Hold tight.
Are not anywhere near the cancer of our community. We did not create slavery. We did not create redlining. We didn't create mass incarceration, underfunded schools, the wage gap, bank deserts, food deserts. We did not create this media machine that keeps people like Andy Cohen and Leor Cohen and let's see here, Jimmy Iovine in the billions.
And shout out to Dave Anderson, man, for doing that excellent breakdown. Excellent breakdown by Dave Anderson.
Voice of reason, man.
Yeah, definitely the voice of reason. Shout out to that brother for giving a powerful breakdown because his synopsis is perfect. He got a perfect synopsis, man.
I see the brother Darwin has come a long way too.
Right. Shout out to him.
Shout out to the brother Darwin because man, he's making the hair on the back of my neck stand up because he was talking some strange things, man.
Right. Shout out to Darren. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Now he started to make me wonder, like, what the hell is he talking about? Because I think what happens in sometimes in life is men take their anecdotal situation and they dismiss the reality that's going on outside for the average everyday man.
Right.
And just because your circumstances may be totally different, that doesn't mean we tend to show a lack of empathy for men. Don't get me wrong, men should rise to a certain level in a certain occasion and perform. But what happens inevitably is that when you start dismissing the reality of what's out here in these streets and what men are having to choose from, and that woman was a great example when he made the word obey. We cannot live in this anecdotal bubble where we project our own, thoughts and beliefs so much onto other men.
Mm-hmm.
And ignore the realities of what's going on out here in the streets.
I totally agree. He said right after that statement, I'll be heading for the exit. Right. And that's AWOL. You got to walk away. You got to walk away. Shout out to Cody Trucker. I think he's from your channel, Raj. He said AWOL is a brilliant term. It's brilliant. I'm a 54-year-old man that relates to both of you. This is a great video to listen to on the Sunday evening. No doubt. Shout out to one of your guys, Roger. Shout out to him. Yeah. And shout out to Tim Howell. Guys, make sure y'all hit the like button. Show Peaceful Life some love. Put your cash app up, Peaceful Life. Make sure you guys donate to the channel. Support Peaceful Life and also support myself. He's been gracious with his time to come on and do this show. And guys, it took me a lot of time to put this show together. But before I get into the gravitas of this video, because Dave Anderson had a perfect breakdown.
I love Dave. Dave has been the voice of reason, man.
Yeah, he's been the voice of reason, man. I got no respect for him.
He kicked in, but my favorite thing with Dave is when he talked about reporting for duty. But the reality is these guys are panderers and simps, matriarchal males, and this is what they do constantly, all day, every day to a female audience. A matriarchal female audience, and then you have a whole bunch of simp men, like the guy standing at the altar with that. I'm not going to say it, but that specimen, with female organs. I don't know what the hell he's about to marry. He's that guy's going to get tortured. I mean, let's be honest. That guy, she's going to tear his soul apart like them Hellraiser demons. But he knows coming to that guy. That guy will be a shadow of himself in another year or so. It's just going to destroy him. I have no idea.
You can't reward bad behavior. Hold tight. Let's finish getting into it. Hold on.
I'm not going to report for duty respectfully under a lie. I'll report for duty to build. I'll report for duty to lead. I'll report for duty to correct men who are wrong. I will report for duty to protect women and children. I will report to duty to rebuild families and confront broken systems. When we have people like David, when we have people like R. Kelly, when we have people like Diddy, I condemn that situation immediately. But I also condemn Clive Davis. I also condemn Leor Cohen. I also condemn Andy Cohen, Scooter Braun, and everybody who is in charge of perpetuating this thug, gangster, nonsensical mythos of black men that becomes the standard as opposed to the exception, while also elevating a soft beta male simp mangina mentality that does not serve us when it comes to our communities and would not be tolerated in anybody else's community.
And so hold tight. I'm going to play this little part, and then I'm going to break down where the psychological concept piece of life called undoing. I'm going to break that down. But let me play this clip. Hold tight. Right. Then your consciousness is of one thing. I don't associate with somebody who does Negroes. I don't deal with them because their consciousness is not black. I don't agree with them because I believe that you can't have a black community unless black men are leading their communities. But when you got a generation of women who conspire with liberal white women, they conspire with maladaptive policies. We're in the situation that we're in now because of that. And when things happen, you have these people that have this pro-black ideology. I call it static blackness. And the presumption is that just because your skin color is black, your consciousness got to be black. But here's the problem with that, DJ Hamp. Black people were never one in Africa. So my premise has always been this piece for life. Many people or some in the pro-black community think just because somebody's skin color is black, you're supposed to give your love, devotion, and servitude just because. And that's a fallacy. Because what that does, it leads to compromised masculinity. Listen, when you're a real man, you don't compromise your core standards, values, or belief systems. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree.
And the problem that we have in America is that you cannot rebuild a black infrastructure if the infrastructure by default is already damaged. And I'm going to show it to you. Let me show you something. I'm going to show you something. Because, hold tight. Hold tight. True masculinity is based on being like a five-star recruit. Honor, courage, commitment, simplified. But what we're asking young men to do is this, Peaceful Life. We're asking young men to put their lives on the line, to stand up and be compromised men just because somebody's skin color is black. And so most young men, Peaceful Life, have not been equipped. You and I was not 100% equipped to deal with this gynocentric war that we're in now. And I will argue that it's worse now than it was in the past. And so how can young men that have been conditioned, they haven't been nurtured by the women in the community, they haven't been nurtured properly, some of them, they haven't been properly nurtured by their mothers, and you tell black men to navigate the landmines and the enemies that they can't see, and without giving them the proper equipment to deal with the warfare that's been waged on them psychologically. Once again, we just had the landmine of false accusations. That was Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs was in the courtroom crying, man. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's a messed up situation. But
go ahead.
Like Whitfield and the rest of them, when they talk about leadership, they're really talking about leadership on women's terms.
Right.
He's not talking about patriarchal masculine leadership on men's terms. That's why he's tiptoeing around the statement of telling women what to do. And that's why he's only defining the things that you need to be doing, for example, which eliminates man being a commander of his own home and him actually giving out orders that need to be followed. And I say a good captain doesn't give out bad orders. So he tiptoeing around giving people orders. which is actually what patriarchal men do. We give orders. I give orders. Even when I was in relationships or I'm at home, I give an order, and I expect it to be followed. And that's the problem, that it's this watered down masculinity, this watered down patriarchy. And again, he's tiptoeing around that. The other guy at the old TV show, he's so desperate to have a woman that even in the state of mediocrity, he's trying to rationalize and almost beg her to be with him.
Right.
Because she's talking this talk. She really doesn't value or respect him, or even want to. She just, again, we're dealing with matriarchal culture. And what I think is the hard part, and what a lot of men, especially black men, need to put their ego aside and accept the fact that we live in a matriarchal, that they live. I don't live in that shit. Me and you don't live in that crap. In fact, any of the brothers watching don't live in that crap. They live and exist in a matriarchal culture, and you're dealing with a good, huge percentage of men like the Whitfield and them. I'm going to say it. They're bitch-led men. That's what you're dealing with. You deal with a lot of these guys that are compromised. They project.
They're projecting because they don't have power in their relationship.
Exactly.
Right. They don't have power in their own relationship.
Us men, what we supposed to be as men. But when they go home, you know, they can't say crap around there.
Right. Basically, their internalized feelings become their outward projection to men, but it can't be their outward projection to the women in their lives.
They can't.
Because they know they're going to get excoriated. Let me tell you something. It'll be a cold day in Hades when I'm in a relationship,
right?
And my wife is dictating to me how I'm going to be a man. That will never happen. Because let me finish. I'm gonna let you cook. Because when that happens, Peaceful Life, I'm gonna start planning my exit strategy, and that's what AWOL is. You're a 5-star. I call you a 5-star Marine. I'm a 5-star Marine, and it basically means no simp, no debt. That's something you talk all the time. When you call yourself a peaceful sexual, no drama, no regrets, and the mission is me. The mission is Peaceful Life. The mission is kosher. The mission is us. And basically states that I'm not giving my masculinity away for free. I'm not giving my power away for free. I'm not going to compromise my masculinity based on the environment and the culture and a gynocratic culture where my needs are not being taken care of and my needs are not being met. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying Dr. L just showed up in the chat, and I salute to Dr. L. And Dr. L was a captain in police, and you know, you give orders. When a captain gives some orders, you don't sit around there saying to yourself, what if he lead by example? Of course he leads. He has example. He set example. He got to that right. But it's not open for debate, especially if it's a lawful order. If it's a lawful order, when it has to do with the responsibility of your duties, you don't get to negotiate that order.
Right.
It's a lawful order.
Right.
And if you're a man and you're in charge of your household and you're living up to the standard of a man and you give a reasonable, rational, lawful order, it should be carried out. It's not a democracy or whatever. Somebody has to be in charge, the captain of the ship. And the fundamental problem is they want men to demonstrate or give masculinity on their terms. And in the Black community especially, it's all centered around what you pay for. And it has nothing to do with any type. It's all about what you can pay for them.
Right. It's all what you can pay for.
They talk about
yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
Leadership. All they talk about is money.
Right. Always money. Shout out to Dr. L, man. Dr. L, I'm gonna stun on you a little bit, man. You see that? That's a bad 6'5" Marine, Dr. L. You know I be joking with you all the time, man. That's a bad 6'5" Marine, man. That's a 5-star Marine, Dr. L. I'm about to stun on you a little bit. Shout out to Mr. George. He said AWOL is great, but that's the Army. Marines is unauthorized acts. Okay, all right. Appreciate it, Mr. Jersey. I appreciate it, brother. But let's get back to it, man. But the parts to the bottom piece of life about, because this was the updated version of hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. But the updated version about shout out to Cortez about Well, actually, I can't see it on the screen, but no drama, no regrets. Mission is me. When did you start going on your me mission, Peaceful Life? When did you start doing that? When you start doing, yes, sir. When did you start going on your me mission? Go ahead, man.
Shoot, I started that years ago, maybe 20 plus years ago. And I think what happens is this: when I started I really wanted to understand why, for those men who try to play by the rules and do the right thing, for most of the times, you end up in a situation where even if you try to do the right things, you still end up in a situation where you have to constantly check disrespectful situations. And it came to my understanding, I really didn't understand a certain level of indoctrination that was really going on deep in the culture, and the programming that was going on in the culture that created a certain mindset and mentality towards men, where women were just really coached and nurtured and mentored not to follow masculine leadership.
Right.
So you end up in a situation where you're dealing with women that were raised to compete against men. We're not raised to be in leadership.
Hold on. Shout out to Cortez Smith. Cortez said, actually 6'6", a Marine with shoes on. Dr. L said, it ain't the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight. The dog, we know Dr. L had to stun on you, man. Mr. Jordan said Marine had just corrected. Yeah. No, I appreciate it, brother. You're correct. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the correction. But this right here, Peaceful Life, is powerful, man. And I'm gonna tell you why it's so powerful. Because did your father teach you how to be a proper man as it relates to true masculinity, or what you say it was on the surface level? Break it down for me. Go ahead.
I think it was mostly when we deal with a different type of environment then, because when I was still around then, I mean back then, and even in that environment, they still have some very strong patriarchal males.
Right.
And I think it's this type of stuff that was coming out of women's mouths. That women still back then, they were very. They had, okay, we talk about what women bring to the table. They had some skills. They still can cook, they still can clean, they still were nurturers, they were able to add some type of value to a man's life because they had skills then. Today, it's a tough. Today, I think Brother Angry Man was talking about it the other day, Kosher. Where he's talking about today's modern women and what they bring to the table for men. And back when I was a kid, there was skills that women were expected to have. Nowadays, most men are just getting pre-owned and a bunch of headaches and a bunch of expenses and a bunch of irritation, to be honest with you, man. They actually had to have some skills back in the day, man.
Right.
It's an environment now, and if you're dealing with, we're not talking about the 10% women, and we're not talking about certain women or whatever, where it's a take environment, all take, because of the culture has evolved, and the Whitfields and the Jellyback Sims of the world have programmed these women, and their mindset and their mentality is all about take, extract. Where male psychology is not even being taught. Like, women are not raised to understand.
They're not.
Men.
Right.
Or what it is to be or even male psychology from a perspective of pouring into a man. It's all about how to extract out of a man. Me. And that's what you see primarily focused on. You can't have a conversation about women without it being redirected back to men nowadays. And what men are not doing and what men should be doing better for them. It's gotten so bad that men's needs, men's wants, men's desires, or even whether a woman's worthy to be in a relationship with a man is never even questioned. I think what happens, and we did the sort of thing with Clay Thompson, I call it PNC regret or PNC depression. When guys finally get that PNC clarity, his relationships are ending because these women, when they look at themselves and after that pleasure's over and they get that clarity, they're literally dealing with an empty vessel. She has no skill set. She doesn't cook, doesn't nurture well. She doesn't support you. Or she's just sitting there saying, talking about sitting on the couch, want to watch Netflix with you and talk about emotions and feelings. And
right.
Talk about your emotions. She want to sit around with you and talk about your emotional intelligence and why you need to be doing for her.
Right.
She's basically trying to turn you into her
girlfriend.
Right.
Right.
She's extracting emotional, psychological energy from you and not providing anything to you other than pre-owned. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, you're going to have to go in the kitchen and cook your own, wash your own laundry and because you want to clean your own house and do all that stuff. You just add an extra bill.
And listen, man, you're 100% correct. So what?
It's sad to say that, but all men are getting right now is more bills.
No.
Maybe in proximity to pre-owned, then proximity to it.
Right.
I don't think she's going to be giving it like she wished it when you live with them.
Slide yourself more to your center. You're a little off on the verb.
Over here?
There you go. Yeah, slide a little bit more. There you go. You're perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. All right. So what Dondre Whitfield was asking young men to do is to navigate the landmines of a gynocratic culture. And so how can you expect black men to serve or white men? And the guy Polar Bear is correct. It's not just black men. He's correct. It's all men. He's right. All men are catching it. And I only preface black men because normally my audience is mostly black men. But you are correct, sir. Polar guy, I think that's your name. All guys are suffering. So most men, white and black, are psychologically compromised. I see it all the time in practice.
Yes.
And there's an ego defense mechanism called undoing. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But how can you go to a war and tell men that everybody ain't built for this, but yet you never nurture the boys to the level and expectations to serve? The women are supposed to nurture the warrior class. They're not nurturing the boys, and they're not nurturing the girls. And when you give your power away for free without demanding anything in return, basically what you do is you compromise your masculinity. That's why I said most modern women are defective women, and you got compromised men. And they both are part of a very caustic system, a system that does not balance, the system that doesn't have symmetry. And so how can men fight for women in a gynocratic culture? How do they navigate false accusations, no-fault divorce, paternity fraud, domestic violence, because most domestic violence is bi-directional, started by women, feminism, community dysfunction, female-led domestic violence, rebellion, which is a key one on Peaceful Life, and witchcraft. I'm tied to that. Which one has resonated with you the most to the gynocrats like Dondre Whitfield? And I'm not trying to disrespect Dondre because maybe he's coming from a good place, or maybe he's trying to psyop black men. But which one resonates the most to you? Go ahead.
Well, I think more so from the legal perspective, the downfalls and the pitfalls we saw with the Stephon Diggs situation, that's the most harmful. But you got to understand, like, when I look at the culture itself or the community itself, and we talk about the hyena structure of the community, even a guy like Whitfield, he operates and he talks from the perspective of a hyena male. And he sees every male to the same lenses, and his pandering is to create relevance for himself.
Right.
But in his mind, deep down, he doesn't see the men themselves as valuable because he doesn't feel valuable because he talks like a matriarchal male. And because any man that doesn't require standards for the women or any type of, we got to understand that the only thing the men can do now is, I hate to say it, SYSBM is why I support it. You have to save yourself. I hate to say it because the situation is so bad now. We're dealing with a hyena structure where they look at the males as disposable. That's why it's so easy to get them locked up. Call 911 on them. Use them for sperm donors. Treat them like crap. The women try to tell the men who to vote. They tell the men who to have sex with. They tell them you can only date this race of women, that race of women. They tell the men who to marry. Who to vote for, who to marry, and from everything else. That is a matriarchal culture.
Yes, sir.
And the men that like Whitfield, I'm sorry, that man is a jellyback simp. I'm not going to hold my word. I know it's jellyback when I see him. That is a bitch-led man who panders to women for money. That's just the way it panders to black women for money. He He follows the same recipe. I think Obsidian's talked about it, even what they call it, the strategy for being successful in the Black community, like most pastors do. The customer is always right philosophy. You must pander to the Black women, kiss their ass. You're dealing with hyena culture. There's no other thing. You have no choice because you cannot defeat the army of jellyback simps. And that's the fundamental flaw and the fundamental problem of the Black community. And the Black men have to lose their ego. Get over your ego. You're dealing with a matriarchal, emotional, bitch-led community. You got to figure out. You got to say, look, am I going to become the next simp? Am I going to become the next cucked guy or Mitch-led man? And you're going to have to get out of there. You're going to have to. You have no other choice. There's too many of them.
And that's why I say when people have these conversations, you know, they don't have the credentials or the background to put this thing together, because you're dealing with broken men and also broken women. And Frederick Douglass said, Frederick Douglass says it's easier to repair damaged children than it is to repair broken men. So you're trying to tell broken men to go fight for a war, but you got a generation of boys that have never been properly read. Right now, especially Black boys, they're reading that. Some of them still reading at a subpar level, while there's a percentage of the community that expect Black men to rise up. But you can't reward bad behavior, and I'm going to continue to prove it to you in a minute. Hold tight. Hold on. All right. So healthy undoing versus unhealthy undoing. So undoing Peaceful Life is an ego defense mechanism. Healthy undoing means that I did something wrong. I take responsibility and feel empathy. I make amends and repairs, and the result is reduced anxiety. The problem with the gynocratic culture is that 20 to 10% of Black men cause chaos, and the other percentage of Black men are in the process of trying to deal with the anxiety of expectations in the ego defense mechanism called undoing. That's an ego defense mechanism. And so healthy undoing is like, I did something wrong to you and I took ownership for it. But we live in a society where the broader society blames all Black men, which is overgeneralization, for the malfeasance of a few. And so what happens with healthy undoing is that you acknowledge your mistake, you take responsibility, you feel empathy, you make amends, and the result is that the guilt is reduced and you feel better. The goal is to reduce guilt and to restore balance. But that's why I say you have compromised men and defective women. Now, with the healthy ego defense, unhealthy ego defense mechanism is men are taught to deny how the gynocracy has impacted us in a negative way. We're taught to distract, escape, or overcompensate for the sake of approval.
Right.
We blame other Black men or justify bad female nature for the sake of validation. And the result is guilt remains, relationship damage, self-loathing grows. What do you think about the concept of healthy undoing versus go ahead. Go ahead.
I totally agree. And that's I think you broke it down pretty, pretty well. I mean, it's eloquently. And you think about it, it goes deeper into the consciousness of what's going on, particularly with the men and the men in that community. Because I think what happens inevitably is a lot of them, obviously, they have, families, mothers and sisters and women, and then they're raised in a certain environment where a lot of their self-esteem has been beaten down on for so many years. And they've been trained to accept mediocrity is the problem. They're trained to accept lower standards. They're trained to accept lower standards from women, or even have low expectations, because a lot of them are being raised to take care of mama. And that's one of the fundamental problems that you see happening now. And from the time they're little, these little boys, especially growing up in a house without strong fathers in there, they're raised to be basically disposable to a group of women that are very, very much anti-masculine leadership.
Right.
And I look at the breakdown now. If you go down the list, You talk about, unhealthy undoing. We go down to the one that stands out even more. It's like guilt remains, relationship damage, self-loathing grows. There's all kinds of problems, You went over there, number one, deny and ignore the guilt, distracted or overcompensate. All these problems you see, and that's why, again, they've cultured Black men to accept mediocrity.
Right.
Women that are morbidly obese, women with multiple men's kids, with high body counts.
Yes, totally agree.
Extra testosterone, and are aggressive and are dominant and are mouthy. And these guys will put up with some man. I've seen some dudes where women, you talk to them like they're complete and utter trash.
Right.
Stuff that a masculine man will absolutely check right away. But
yes, sir. Right. Right.
His mom was like that.
Right. Right.
Like that. So we're dealing with a whole change. Has a whole cultural change and mindset change, and mentality has to change. And that's why the critical point and how our channels exist. In the mindset and the mentality of the younger men, Gen Z, and whatever else. And I try to tell the young men, you're not your mama's hero.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your fault that she can't get along with a man.
Right.
It's not your fault that she can't keep a man in her life. You're not supposed to be her retirement plan in America. It's not part of the culture.
Right.
I mean, it's good to pass down and take it, but because she cannot be with a man, that you're not responsible to fill in the gaps for her lack of ability to cooperate or be agreeable or anything else. And I think, we alluded to earlier, a lot of the young Black men have been kidnapped as hostages to serve the mothers, to serve other women in the community and whatever else. And it's kind of terrible because, again, those women, a lot of them are single. They're very difficult to get along with. They can't get a respectful men. They're out here single, competing with the 25-year version of themselves. And we have a lot of men, again, they raise their sons in a way to accept so much mediocrity. Go ahead, brother.
Right. And guys, do me a favor. Y'all hit the like button. Donate to the channel, guys. Y'all like what me and Peace of Life are doing, donate to the channel. I decided, I was trying to get Obsidian, but I think he was busy.
Right.
But I wanted to break this thing down from a clinical perspective, as a licensed therapist, because I look at things through systems, and I look at things through what I call psychopathy, and so when you look at things through systems and psychopathy, and you don't get the proper nuance to the conversation, then it can lead to circular conversations without solutions, and that's why I had to address it. But hold tight. So, healthy undoing builds and heals and empowers. What it does, it gives self-awareness. He reflects, grows, and take accountability without self-hate. We know Peaceful Life that a lot of men have low self-esteem.
Right.
It builds real relationships. He invests in healthy connections and strong brotherhood. Healthy undoing sets boundaries with wisdom. He protects his peace. That's something that you're talking about. And he doesn't overperform to prove his worth. What do you think about that show? Real quick, real fast, under 1 minute.
What the healthy undoing?
Self boundaries with wisdom.
Well, I think that's obviously these healthy undoings. The fundamental problem with them is that when we go to the how their mindset mentality has been formulated, it's already broken from the beginning. So they don't even have the strength to set these boundaries because they've been raised in an environment without any type of boundaries set, especially with the women. So it's very difficult, but I totally agree with them. He said, especially when we talk about he invites in healthy connections and strong brotherhood. They tend to look for women that are like their mothers.
That's true.
And that's the fundamental problem. Go ahead, brother.
That's the fundamental problem. He sets boundaries with wisdom. He protects his peace, and he doesn't overfunction to prove his worth. That's something that all young men are learning to do and have learned to do. He has purpose over approval. He's driven by purpose, not validation from people or systems. He has a legacy mindset. He breaks cycles, builds a better future for himself and others, his results are strong men, strong families, and strong communities. But once again, black men are put in positions where they've been told to do unhealthy undoing. And unhealthy undoing is from a gynocratic culture, similar to what Dontre Whitfield was talking about when he tell men that men just do. And no, men should never just do for the sake of doing unless he's getting something in return. And so how are black men impacted by feminist-led culture? Undoing trying to make up for your worth, mistakes, or simply being a man in a system that sees you as the problem. The truth is you're not responsible for fixing a system designed to blame you. What do you think about that?
I totally agree. And again, that also the system sets the bar because it's a matriarchy, and we deal with how women are going to do. They're gonna set an environment that benefits them. So they're gonna say, well, men shouldn't look at women's past. Men shouldn't worry about women's weight. Men shouldn't worry about women being ran through. Men should, if you deal with that system that they're raised in, the bar is being set by women. And this, unlike patriarchy where the bar is set by men, and men are if men are in charge, you're like, for instance, you have daughters. You're going to set a high standard for your daughters.
I am.
And the men that marry your daughters.
Yes, sir.
You're going to focus on character and all these other things. When women are in charge and they create this environment, obviously with their relationship with the government, they're in charge of the standards, which is why Dante Whitfield has to walk on eggshells. The pastors have to walk on eggshells. And the women have the political power, the political influence, and they've wielded that for power in that community. And they're controlling the standards. They're controlling what's being said. They're controlling how men talk in that community. That's why there's so many panda bears in that community, including Whitfield. They're scared of the women. And that's just the way it is. They're scared of the women in that community.
They're scared. And
the boys, when you talk about these healthy undoings and talk about the standards here, they weren't even raised with these standards that we're talking about. Because again, if I don't want to use this as if mama is a big back in 350, she's gonna teach her son that messing with 350 is okay.
Right.
And he's gonna be culture around that. You know what I mean? He's gonna accept whatever. Or if mama talks to men like so his voice sounds as heavy as Leslie Jones's voice, he gonna mess with women who talk like that. Or he's gonna get smart and listen to these channels like yours and mine. He's gonna run.
Right. And so unhealthy, it destroys and weakens and imprisons the mind. Over apologize, people, please. How many times have you not seen that?
Oh, every
neglect of self and brotherhood. He isolates from men and abandons his growth to appease others. That's called an unhealthy attachment. Right. A lot of men in these situations have what's called unhealthy attachment style. Shout out to my man Revelation Spirit of Indifference, and also Brother Ray Johnson for the 5. Thank you guys for your support. Overcompensating through providing. He believes that his value is only in what he can provide, so he burns out peaceful life. Accept disrespect to avoid conflict. That's all part. We'll get to it. Hold tight. That's all part of and tied to peaceful life. Unhealthy undoing. Black men that have not been complicit in this dysfunction are taught to be part of unhealthy undoing. And as a licensed therapist, that's what Dontre Whitfield knowingly or unknowingly was doing. He was telling black men to be part of unhealthy undoing. He accepts disrespect to avoid conflict. He tolerates mistreatment to keep peace or being labeled. He's trapped in guilt and shame. He lives with chronic guilt, self-hate, and feelings of not being enough. Results: weak men raise weak generations and feed the system.
Yes.
Weak men raise weak generations and continue this dumb process. And that's why when I heard Mr. Whitfield, no disrespect to him, but what I heard him basically telling black men is to compromise their power for the sake of duty. Compromise your power for the sake of duty. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with everything you just said, man. And especially when he talks about he believes his value is only in what he can give, so he burns out. How many times we talk about it? Have you heard some dude bragging or boasting or beating on his chest about paying 100% of the bills?
Right.
Some ran through, burnt out chick that's not even traditional. He's guy number 45, and he's talking about, I'm a provider man and I'm a real man because I am paying all of the bills for the Village 304.
Right.
And that's the fundamental. Like, he measures his manhood and his masculinity, and he tries to virtue signal and flex on other men because he's got the Village 304 and he's paying all the bills. I pay 100% of the bills. I'm a real man. He tries to shame other men that you know, whatever they make women work, and that women have to work and pay bills.
Yep.
Period. It's 2026. But he tries to belittle other men, but he's got a woman that wouldn't even touch him without the money.
Right.
You see that all the time because that's how he was raised.
Yep. I totally agree. Hold tight. Hold tight. And that's why I tell men that the standard years ago was wife ready, virgin, no kids. And part of the social contract was sexual exclusivity and you having power and leadership and authority in your home. And I agree with you. It ain't no flex paying all no bills, because like I've always said that.
Paying all the bills for what you said, yeah, but for the Village 304, hell no.
Exactly. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. The way this world is now, and the struggles that people are going through, man, it's getting worse, man. A lot of these women gonna be in a lot of trouble, man, because part of it, they're under the curse from being disobedient to God, and they're under the curse of being disobedient to their husbands, and they're gonna be in a lot of trouble, man. Feminism lied to a lot of them. It told them they could do everything they wanted to do, be 304s, and still get good black men. And listen, there are gonna be some simps they're gonna marry, but it's getting so bad now that even simps can't afford to take care of.
Look at the Klay Thompson situation. You know that dude's been getting deletion threats. He's like, I tried to explain. I was explaining to my son the other day, and I should have about 2 minutes of shit. I mean, it's just a second. I mean, not a couple, few seconds. What I tried to explain to him is the reason, and I tried to explain to him why the women are so angry with Klay Thompson and they hate it. And I say, Klay Thompson, it's not about Klay Thompson. It's about what he represented. And Klay Thompson represented hope. He represented hope. The hope is that you can go out here and get ran through and run the streets, and at the end of the rainbow, a man will still accept you. A high-quality man will still accept you. And all these women that are sitting around rebranding themselves and revirginating themselves, they're saying, you know what? If men can do it, I can do it too. So what Klay Thompson took away was hope, the dream, the fantasy, the you know, he destroyed the dream, man. And they wanted him punished for that. How dare you?
Right. But they thought he was gonna be another Russell Wilson. They thought they was gonna get a Megan's prayer. And when they didn't get a Megan's prayer, then they snapped because they realized that Klay said, no, I'm not paying full price for a 304. Right.
He ran.
Shout out to Hashim Shabazz for that file. Let's finish playing this. Hold tight, Roger. Hold on. Actually, let me finish playing this clip. Hold on.
In communal wars, when voluntary servitude undermines heteronormative masculinity, here's why it never works.
And that's not true. Manospheres are from different backgrounds, different worldviews. One of the premises of my channel is that whereas men, we don't agree on all things or ideologies, but we come together as allies of a common cause, only to dissipate when the crisis is over. Black men did create the crisis in America. White liberalism, black women drinking the Kool-Aid created the crisis. And now, because of the state of the world that we're in, everybody tend to assume and associate false narratives associated with, loose black men that were invisible to those same women in the past. And so now the premise is, I don't know if you heard about this homosexual guy. denigrating black men and saying black men are the part of the problem. And really that's a cognitive distortion in the clinical, because it's all predicated in something called overgeneralization.
And gentlemen, it has now come to the time that we have a conversation. I've been saying for years on this show that black men need to have a conversation, black men alone. We have got to figure out what is going on with us. This is not something that black women can help us with. This conversation does not include black women. Black women, stand down and stand to the side. Black men need to have a kumbaya amongst themselves, and I'm gonna niche this out a little more. And it's heterosexual black men. I'm gonna catch a lot of flack for this, but I'm gonna say it out loud with my whole chest. Straight black men are the cancer of the.
Think about this real quick, and say your response. Say your response for the end, because I got a lot to go through. But think about this peaceful life: a fruit trying to tell a vegetable how to be a vegetable, a whole fruit. He ain't even a strawberry; he's a peach. A peach trying to tell a zucchini and a cucumber and a potato how to be a vegetable, a whole fruit, whole type.
Black community. That's where it starts and that's where it stops. Ladies, I'm here to tell y'all something. All this shit that y'all got going on, some of y'all, not all of y'all, with the gays and with the trans, let it go. Your issue is not a trans woman. Your issue is not a punk or not a sissy. Your issue is all of our issue. Straight black men. Straight black men are the enemy to the gays. Straight black men are the enemy to the trans. Straight black men are who are causing harm to the girls and the women. That's where it's at. Now, y'all can shoot the messenger. Y'all can call me all type of faggots on the shade.
And that right there is probably projection out of not having his father in the home. And they come on, see, so you got what's called clinical introjection. Introjection is an ego defense mechanism when men identify and internalize how women think. And then when masculine men come in and give an alternative outside of that over-identification, then they project. This man, I promise you, father probably wasn't in his life, or he was abused at some point, and he see all men as the people that cause him harm. I promise you that's problem. I could be wrong, and I could be wrong, but I promise you that's a trauma response. Hold tight.
And all the other blog sites that's gonna pick this up and I'll eat it. But you'll never see a situation where girls and women walking around saying they scared of the gay boys. They scared of their life for the gay boys. They don't want to be around the gay boys. It ain't nothing.
Now look at this nonsense. He said black men is the problem, but look at how these guys are being child abused. And these fruits are you know, he want to talk about heterosexual men, but you got fruits in the street being debaucherous. Debaucherous fruits, but yet you're talking about heteronormative black men.
Tasha K, we've been good since Spoon's wedding. Somehow or another, you got a wild hair up your ass and decided, let me pick
Y'all forgive the language. Forgive the language. I don't endorse this foul language. Please forgive the language, guys.
shit with Funky Dineva. And why? When people can't access you physically, they will try to access your emotions. Try to keep my peace with you. Okay? But Tasha K, I want you to know this, and you can put this on record, okay? You can put this on record. The next time I publicly see you, I am going to walk up to you, and I'm going to the shit out of you, and then I'm already just throw my setup and be ready to f*** your husband. And the sad part about it is, I actually like your husband a lot. I have no problems with your husband. You, on the other hand, Tasha, you the same raggedy bitch that every time you see.
So Atlanta people, how come every time somebody driving crazy, it's somebody with a Florida?
You don't talk like that, nigga. Put some goddamn bass in your voice.
Straight black men are a cancer to the black community.
Straight black men are the cancer of the black community.
Black men are the cancer of the black community. The comment that I dropped was that I agree and reporting for duty.
I understand why my name wasn't mentioned.
It was recently brought to my attention that some dude obviously looking for attention, so I won't mention his name.
And honestly, I appreciate it. Because what that tells me is this. There's an awareness that if black people are directed to my platform, they're going to encounter something very different from the typical conversation.
What makes our country great and what we learned coming out of Vietnam is that.
And this is where I agree with Sid. So Sid did a great job, and I agree with him 1,000%. This goes back to the psychopathy of being a performative, compromised masculinity without demanding anything in return. And that's why I put Obsidian up here, because even though Dave said some very powerful points, Obsidian's talking point resonated very powerfully. Because basically what you're doing, you are asking men to serve without being served. In theology, peaceful life, man wasn't made for woman, woman was made for man. So you don't give out service for the sake of service unless it's measured and also is rational to your own existence. But just to give up your power, your life, and to put your life on the line, part of the love of a woman is to respect her husband. So when women respect their husbands, what men do, they put their lives on the line. And that's why I love what Lucidia was saying here, so hold tight.
That we have a stronger military when it's voluntary, not a draft. I'm down for service when I choose it,
right,
not when it's imposed on me.
Right.
Okay? I'm down to sign up and serve when the cause is right, when I feel compelled in my soul to sign up, but not when it's imposed from top down in a draconian net to serve those who would mock me, to serve those who wouldn't piss on me, to put me out if I was on fire.
You take a small sample size of black men that are complicit in the problems in the black community, and you falsely equivocate all black men with those issues. And that's a false assumption, because most black men are not complicit in that nonsense. Black men didn't create the manosphere. Liberal dogmas create the manosphere, and black men begin to come together trying to find answers and solutions. Now look at it on the bell curve. On the average, most black men are centrists. Look at right in the center, they're average. These decent black dudes. Do you have some outliers at extreme? Sure. That's a small percentage. But then you got those that excel. But, you know, you've got Manosphere 1, Manosphere 2, Manosphere 3, Manosphere 4. But we're like denominations. We're like, it's no different than the Crips and the Bloods that we were talking about a minute ago. The Crips and the Bloods are black, but they're not from the same conscious tribe. So people always make these false assumptions just because your skin color is black, then your consciousness is of one thing. I don't associate with something. So let me ask you a question, man. Should black men give their unyielding service just for the sake of skin color? And I'm going to prove to you why that's a fallacy. Giving your power away just for the sake of skin color, that's a fallacy, because even in tribal Africa, all African tribes didn't have the same consciousness as it relates to their worldview. And so this nonsense about you're black, therefore you should fight for your community. They're not even your women. And I'm gonna prove it to you. I'm gonna prove it to you systematically from a biblical perspective, but also from a psychological and sociological perspective. You should never serve and give your power, your resources, your money, and your time away to compromise women, defective women. Then you should give it to good women. You give it to good women that understand structure, order, and therefore those women that understand structure and order, they get provision and protection. But you never give your masculinity away for free, because what you're doing, you are rewarding bad behavior. Go ahead.
No, I totally agree. I'm just nodding in agreement. To give away, and again, they trying to assign these responsibilities to men that have no authority in these communities or don't really have a strong voice. And again, this is a part of it. The guy said reporting for duty. So here's a man, or what's left of a man, giving an opinion. Why does he feel that particular guy, why does he feel so comfortable saying what he said? It's the fundamental problem.
Right.
And then you have a man like a Whitfield say reporting to duty from a voice like that. who should not even be respected.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because of his preference, it's because of his mindset, his mentality, and his ideology. These are fringe people giving an opinion on hardworking, honorable, respectful men that just happen to be black.
Mm-hmm.
And that opinion, he's responds to that opinion by reporting for duty. It's the most ridiculous. That's just the ultimate sign of a compromised man and mentality and a mindset. So
yes, sir.
From this foundation, the foundation itself is that in a functional community, he wouldn't have been comfortable saying what he said to the men. That
I totally agree. You're 100% correct.
So asking men to serve and sacrifice and put themselves on the line when the fringes and the bottom of society can just get on a national platform and disrespect the men like that without any type of harsh pushback in terms of cancellations or just is like, I'm stepping down from my position, and it's accepted. That itself is fundamentally a problem.
It's fundamentally a problem. Now, I need everybody to listen to this. I'm going to clip this. And this is going to prove to you guys that just because you are black in your skin hue does not mean that all women are black when it comes down to righteousness and also tribal consciousness. And I want to explain this very clearly. In the Old Testament, you have what was called peaceful life, rebellious Israelites. You had the rebellious Israelites to your left, and you had the righteous Israelites to your right. Moses said, whoever's on the Lord's side, come to me. What black men need to start saying, if you're on my side, then you come to me. But those that do not come to them peaceful life, they have to perish. Now watch this. This is theology first. Because as a therapist, I look at things with the bio, the psycho, the social, and the spiritual. Now watch this. The rebellious Israelites who followed the golden calf, which was idolatry, turned from God, that's the modern woman, worship idols, feelings and self, and chose rebellion, which is witchcraft. The consequences of the rebellion was perish. I cannot serve both God and idols at the same time. Choose this day who you may serve. Now watch this. The righteous Israelites who remained faithful to God, Deuteronomy 10 and 20, they chose obedience, they worshiped the Lord, and they walked in his ways. The blessings of obedience was that they lived. So what Dontre Whitfield is telling black men is that you reward bad behavior just because their skin color is black. But even in the Old Testament, when the women rebelled against the patriarchal authority, they had to perish. The men and the women, they had to perish. And Moses said, whoever's on the Lord's side, come to me. So women that are of righteousness, and they're black women or whatever, but if their consciousness is righteousness and their consciousness is of character, then like Dr. King said, don't judge me by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. The skin color doesn't matter. That's why I keep saying that if you got rebellious women that don't respect your value system, peaceful life,
right,
don't respect my value system, and just because their skin color is black, if you save those women, you're actually getting in the way of God's judgment. So what you have to do, you have to systematically remove yourself from those women. You have to let those women suffer, and the righteous women that are doing what you need them to do, then you support them. Now, ideally, they might be black women, but they might be women of other races too. They might be Asian women. They might be white women. They might be other women, as far as women that honor and respect you as a man. Because you never compromise or give your masculinity away for free, because what you're doing, you're rewarding bad behavior. So to the pro-blacks, they always talk about black community. They're not your women if they're rebellious. Just because their skin color is black, it does not mean that their consciousness is black. That's what I was trying to say, peaceful life. Skin color does not mean black consciousness. How would you respond to that? Go ahead.
I think you're absolutely right, but I think it gets even worse. And
Go ahead.
the reason why is why. When Dontre Whitfield said reporting to duty, okay, we look at the structure itself of the black community, and you say to yourself, what is, and I hate to say it, you look at the hyena kingdom. One of the things about that community is bashing the men. When you look at the hyena structure, who's the lowest ranking? It's the males.
It's the males.
The males
right.
are the last to eat at the kill. The males are the ones that are picked on and bullied by the women. So saying things that are disparaging and degrading and destructive about the males, the reason why Dante Whitfield said reporting to duty, because that appeals to the narrative of a matriarchal hyena culture that bashes and beats on the men. So he was agreeing with him, who should not even be acknowledged in a functional.
Exactly. That's an excellent point.
Because he said something that goes along with the narrative of beating and punishing and, subjugating the males in that community. So beating up and punishing and kicking and disregarding something that you feel is lesser than you is accepted in that community. They see the men as lesser than, it's an ultimate hyena culture, because the women in that community, they're not the women their first obligation is feminism, white liberal feminism with the white women, white liberal women and feminism, the government, maybe the children. And when they look at the family structure, they look at women and children. The men are just sperm donors for most of them.
Yes, sir. Right.
And they're useful for votes and money. They don't see them as masculine patriarchal leadership. And it's that, like that male hyena in the hyena clan, kicking him in his back every day is acceptable rhetoric. It's acceptable ideology.
I totally agree. I agree.
Dante Whitfield is a jellyback simp himself, but he's a panda bear that profits off of this shit. So when that Funky Deneva character said that agrees with what his audience will accept. So he approved of that message and said reporting for duty, which says, look at me. I'm a good male hyena. I serve the queens well. Please don't bite me. Maybe you can give me a piece of that wildebeest leg at the kill. So he's pandering for that piece of the wildebeest leg at the kill because normally he eats last. So even if he eats, he wants to be the first to eat last. And that's how these guys are so pathetic in that community that they will sell other men out just for a pat on the head from the queens. Pat him on the head. Good boy. Good boy. We're dealing with matriarchal bitch-led men. So they will do anything for scraps at the kill, for a bone, for a handout. The structure of their mind doesn't work like our minds. They are subservient men, Dante Whitfield. And that particular individual, he's an acceptable member of the hyena clan, Deneva. So it's one condemning the males who are lower ranking, and there's another simp panda bear that approves it. So it's all of the situation. That's why I tell the young black men, get the hell out of that community. It's a matriarchal culture. You're going to end up
culture, right?
In a situation where you're going to be disrespected. You're going to end up with health problems from heart disease and diabetes and stroke and dying early, or sitting around with some cucked jellyback simp getting talked down to by some matriarchal masculine hyena queen. And I'm saying I'm saying the fact that he can say that it almost takes away hope. I'm afraid to say that, because we look at the structure of that community and what are they raising these boys to be? When you broke down that analogy, and I was thinking to my mind, you broke it down so eloquently. What are they raising these boys to live under? And and that showed you right there. If that individual voice has power in that community,
right,
we're doomed.
and so many modern women are like Meg the Stallion. They're rebellious. They practice, like the brothers say, a lot of them practice witchcraft and the tarot cards. And what they're trying to do, they're trying to serve. They call themselves trying to serve men on one end, which they're not doing, but also serve their own best interest on the back end. And what it's done has led to compromise, man. And you can't be half-stepping. Either you in 100% or you're not. Hold tight. Let me show you this one. All right. And then Joshua 24:15 said, choose you this day whom you will serve. Rebellious black women If you be willing and obedient, you shall eat from the good of the land. What we're doing is that we're teaching black men to give their masculine service away for free without demanding anything in return. But if you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of the Most High have spoken. Now, to all the pro-blacks that talk about, the pro-blacks of these guys talk about black community, you're basically going against God when you tell black men to stand up and serve and report the duty for women that do not serve God, for women that do not follow structure and order, but because you cannot have a community when the women are not disciplined, number one, where there's not structure, number two, and order. And then when you got a generation of compromised men that are giving their power away for free. And so what Dontre Whitfield was doing, whether he did it consciously or not, he's basically telling black men to compromise their power for the sake of what I call static blackness or racialized idolatry. And it's always problematic. The consequences of rebellion is devoured with the sword. So we can take that as a euphemism. Guess what's happening now, Peaceful Life? Somebody said in the comments that there were so many single women at Mother's Day. By 2030, Peaceful Life, 45% of women are going to be single and childless. Now you got women that are struggling because they didn't want to follow the righteous leadership. They didn't respect good men. I'm not talking about dusty men. I'm not talking about men that lie to women. I'm not talking about men that abuse women. I'm not talking about men that say they love women. I'm not talking about men that hurt women. I'm talking about good, solid dudes like you and myself.
Right.
And now they're being devoured by the sword. This was literally in the Old Testament, but they're being devoured by the sword of societal disintegration. And then Joshua also said, if you be willing and obedient, you'll be eat from the good of the land. But if you rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of the Most High has spoken. Whosoever is on the Lord's side, let him come to me. That's what we got to start telling the black woman. Not report the duty, not give your masculinity away for free. If you're on the side of black traditional men, if your conscience is of structure, order, righteousness, and godliness, then we're going to take you in. If it's not, you're going to let them perish by the wayside. You can't do it no more in the name of community, in the name of being black. You only bring in the women to support the women to follow your structure, follow your leadership, and follow your order. Because once again, you got a generation of compromised men and also defective women. And so, so in behavior modification, you don't reward bad behavior. Watch this. Because you reward bad behavior, you're telling the person that your masculinity is cheap. Righteous women, if you be willing and obedient, you should eat from the good of the land, but if you refuse thereof. And so basically, good women need to be protected. Black women, white women, or whatever. But because you and I are black men, the black women that respect us, we take care of those women. The ones that don't respect us, don't nurture the boys and the girls, we let them fall by the wayside. How would you respond to that?
I totally agree. And then, like I said, I talked about it before, and in terms of the young black men and black men in general, it's a Serengeti out here. It's just to save you would have to focus on, to correct this problem, you would have to create a new tribe, a new society, with a new moral code.
Right.
Where patriarchal males will separate themselves from that hyena mentality, hyena kingdom, and you create your own structure separate from them. It cannot be fixed. It cannot be corrected. There's too many jellyback simps, too many panders, too many men that will sabotage men, too many negatives in that environment. And that's why I just tell the young brothers, you got to get the hell up out of there. And you're not going to change anything in that environment. I mean, that's what Whitfield says is a good example of the mindset mentality of the men. He should have came out hard against that type of rhetoric in any type of community that was worth saving, that was savable. But he didn't. He followed along with the plan.
Defective women, compromised men. What do you think about the symbolism, man, and what it's saying? What resonates the most based on what you see, brother?
I mean, if you talk about it, the selfishness, the manipulation, and the entitlement The lack of empathy just comes from this whole mindset mentality of the hyena kingdom and how they perceive men, because they've used the system and the state to beat down their self-esteem and men for power and control of that community. From the point where they tell the men who to vote for, tell them who they support, tell them what they're supposed to think, tell them who they can date, tell them who they can be. And they out here, they'll tell you and define what masculinity is. That's how bold and pompous they are. They're out here telling men what a man's supposed to be. So you're gonna lack empathy for anything that thinks that they think that we're less than them. So there is no empathy there. You know what I mean? And the manipulation you see it now going on at the church, trying to scam men into paying marriage MSRP for women that have mismanaged their youth egregiously. And we talk about how egregiously it is. And that's the huge manipulation factor with the economy the way it is now, where these women are broke and they're coming back to the table because of inflation, talking about community and talking about relationships. The same women that said that men should be born in jail and earn their way out, now they're talking about families and relationships because they don't have the money anymore, because DEI is gone, because affirmative action is gone, because all these government programs have dried up, because people are laying off jobs and replaced with automation, and gas is things are expensive.
Yep.
So now they're talking about relationship and community and all this stuff.
Right. On their, it's still on their terms. It's still on their terms. It's still manipulation, man. It's still trying to tell men how to be men.
On their terms. Everything's
because
on their terms.
because watch this. It's always community when they're in peril, but when they're in promise and prosperity, it's me. Do you see how it goes? When the community is doing good, then it's about me. When the community is doing bad, then it's about sacrifice and suffering and putting your life on the line for the community. And so you got defective women because they're both part of the system. That's why when I hear these people talk, they don't have the background that I do. They're not licensed clinicians like myself. They don't understand their systems, that the men are part of a broken system as well as the women. And you can't have what's called synergy if you got defective women and compromised men. Compromised men equal weak, simps, no standards, people pleasers, and emotionally drained.
Man, you basically summed
it up. Am I dropping some fire for your mind, peaceful life?
Some fire for the mind. It's hard to, without these spaces like yours and mine, these young men have no hope.
They have no hope.
They're gonna make bad decisions. They're gonna get with women that are, like they're gonna get with women that have mismanaged their youth, been ran through. They're gonna be. The culture basically tells young men to dig out the trash can, and that's good for you. Get the leftovers. Get the bottom of the barrel. Don't have any standards. It's just about you got to be a manly man. But I see the brother Ozzy Stat left the super chat, man. But
okay, go ahead. Give me a shout out, brother. Go ahead.
Salute to, can you see it on the screen?
Yeah. He said that
forget to survive. We want to salute to you, my brother. Appreciate the $10 super chat, man. Forget to survive. We want to thrive and thrive as well. No lies being told, King. Salute. Appreciate the support for the channel, man.
Yes, sir.
I totally agree. And I'm saying that it's so bad now, man. Like even sometimes we talk about it a lot about our channels and being on YouTube and the message that's being handed out to men, especially about mass. And I introduced Ayn Rand. Obviously, Ayn Rand has issues with certain things. I don't agree with everything that she says, especially in terms of morality of God. But there's certain things when she talks about altruism. And I think there's a reprogramming that needs to happen for these young men, especially the ones that were raised in these single mom situations where they were raised in an environment to be disposable to her and to the women in the community without any standards of expectations and to accept mediocrity. So this whole reprogramming needs to happen in their mindset mentality. But I don't think they're going to get that unless they separate themselves and get away from that the poisoning of the Whitfields and the matriarchal culture, and even the pastors have been compromised right now with that spirit that
they have.
And we've turned this environment into a low standard mediocrity, accepting the leftovers. We should always get it's like eating chitlins or something in 2026. Some people still eat them. You can order the whole hog. There's no need to look, Eric. Look, I ain't gonna say it. I don't want people to come after me, but there's no need to eat chitlins in 2026. I mean, you can go get yourself a whole hog if you want.
well, listen, it goes back to what I said a few minutes ago, man.
It's
men set the standard by either walking away. That's how they set the standard. Or they set the standard by supporting good women to respond to their leadership. It's only two responses. Rebellious, disobedient women, you set the standard by letting them perish. You put them over there and let them perish.
We got to walk away.
But then the righteous women that support you and respect you and honor you, you set the standard by your devotion, your time, your money, and also death if you had to put your life on the line. You put your life on the line for those women. But rebellious women that want to tell men now because they're afraid the government is collapsing. Now they're talking about men should lead and men should stand up and men should lead. No, I'm not putting my life on the line because the system to be is a gynocracy. Hold tight. And so power never concedes to nothing without a struggle. It never have and it never will. If you want healthy relationships, you can't concede to the demands of women that are feminists and don't respect masculinity. You walk away. That's how you maintain your power. You only concede power is when there is symmetry. She's respecting you and she's giving you something in return. That's why when I hear people talk about marriage, I'm not against marriage. I think marriage is beautiful. But it's why tell men to get married in the system, Roger? Right. When men have limited power, a woman can lie on him, false accusations, and he can lose everything that he got. And you keep expecting men to make these demands and these expectations without the proper safeguards. That's like you and I going into a war without the proper tools to fight in that said war. How about you respond to that briefly?
I think that you are absolutely correct. And not only that, the marriage today has become a humiliation ritual for the men. Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at how the men are treated and the disrespect that's shown to the men who have made the ultimate sacrifice and commitment to that woman. And she doesn't even honor that sacrifice. She doesn't honor that. She can't even say the word obey. Mm-hmm. And she only sees marriage as a means to gain security, a title, an image, a status. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nothing in it about serving that man. They don't want to serve men. Mm-hmm. They want to get served by men. They want to be able to use a man's resources and everything else that benefits them with that marriage. But they have no desire to serve men. I mean, they just don't. Right. There's guys that are married now that are doing everything. Mm-hmm. Everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just a sad situation. But it's become a humiliation ritual now.
It's a humiliation ritual. And guys, y'all like what we're doing, donate to your channel. Let me show you this real quick, man. I'm going to let you go. This has been a good show. I'm going to try to get Obsidian back, man. Maybe him and I can reassess this show. But this is powerful. I'm gonna actually clip this for you and me, and you can take it piece of life. And you can use it for your show too. Hold on. All right, so this is fair use. Fair use. But this is what's going on, Peaceful Life. Guys, please share this stream. This is gonna get real good on the end. We're gonna save the best for last. But this has been this is what I call comprehensive therapy. Because you're an intelligent brother. You understand what I'm saying, but most people don't understand what I'm saying because they're not deep thinkers. That's why when I listen to these men telling black men just to fight for the sake of community, there is no community. There is no community unless there's respect and honor of the men in that community. You don't get provision and protection for free. Even Farrakhan said that, and I'm not even a Muslim, and he was correct. I'm not giving my power and my masculinity away for free. I'm not going to take care of no woman that's not my woman. I'm not going to do it just because of skin color. You got to earn it. If you don't earn it, You won't get nothing. You're gonna do something. It ain't gonna be for free. And the problem is they want black men like yourself and I to do it for free. And a lot of folks now, Peaceful Life, they're no longer, hold tight. How do I get back? They're no longer doing it for free. I'm trying to find the screen. Well, where is it? Where is it? All right, anyway, I'm going to play this. We'll stop in a minute. Hold on. Fair use.
There's a higher chance of divorce. There are all these other awful things that are associated with it that I discuss in the book. Yeah, like there's more likely to be.
So the question is, are men checking out and dating, Peaceful Life? That's the question. Are men checking out and dating? That's the rhetorical question. All right.
More common.
Cheating on the male part. Yeah, no, it's becoming more common. One in 7 marriages are actually women are primary breadwinners now.
And also they're kicking ass in college in a way men aren't.
Yeah.
Men have checked out.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about, what's the word I don't know for like marrying up?
Hypergamy.
Exactly. I was testing you. Hypergamy, which is.
Now, let me tell you how powerful the manosphere has got, Peaceful Life. Dr. Phil uses words like simp. Bill Maher is even talking about hypergamy. That's how powerful men's channels have become.
Right.
You know, because now the mainstream, it's going mainstream now. And I heard Obsidian said that Kevin said that the manosphere was years ahead for its time. But hold tight. I want you to save your comments about what Bill Maher said in a minute. Guys, if you like what we're doing, donate to the channel, please.
The square root of the hypotenuse, by the way, for kids who are watching this, doing their geometry homework. No, hypergamy is involved here because the more men check out as far as academia, they graduate much fewer men now.
Yeah.
I mean, men are the ones who need affirmative action now in college.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, women can't find guys to marry up to.
Exactly.
There's a stat that we keep called the unemployed, but
they talking about women can't find men to marry up to, but men can't find women, Peaceful Life, to marry down to. How would you respond to that?
I totally agree. And I think that's the problem fundamentally, because what he's thinking in terms of is education and what these women perceived as a status, as opposed to actual value in the lenses of men.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just because a woman has a degree doesn't mean that she's a quality woman that's worthy of being with a man, even without a degree. What if she had a degree and she's disagreeable?
Right.
She's not a good person, so she's ran through. Or she's a ball-busting feminist.
Right.
She's morbidly obese. She's unattractive. Or she's just annoying. Like, these are the factors. The problem is there's never a question asked about whether this woman is worthy of the things that she even wants for herself.
Right.
You know, and that's the fundamental flaw in all of this, is that it's not a hypergamy thing. It's an undesirability thing. There's a lot of men, even that are higher status, that won't touch these women with a 10-foot pole.
Right.
So it's not just a high. It's a sexual liberation problem. It's a feminism problem. It's a fact that they just don't like men. They just were raised to hate men, and they don't. A lot of them don't offer no value beyond box. That's just really why they're single.
Right, and also they have failed to ask men what they want. They fail to ask men what they want. Hold tight.
The definition of unemployed is you don't have a job, but you're looking for one. There's another stat, which has, I don't remember the number, but it's an astoundingly high number, like 7 million.
Yeah.
That's not unemployed. It's not working and not looking.
Right.
That goes back to what me and Dr. Helen Smith was saying.
Right.
Men are not on strike anymore, Peaceful Life.
They don't even look.
they not even on strike no way. They just gone. They checked out.
You never considered that some of these women are just insufferable, and no man wants to be bothered with them.
Right.
It's not just this hypergamy thing. Men just want to be bothered, and they see no value in living with them. Or who wants to live at some hyena biting at their ankles every day and gnawing at them? Nobody wants to live with that life. No, hell no.
And not only that, man, can you imagine a society and a culture that says black girl magic, black girls rock, but you never talk about anything to push boys forward, or white boys, or black boys, or boys in general? We're not incentivizing boys, but then they get shocked when boys are not performing at the level the girls are. We don't build them up, because if you got a warrior class, and the women got to nurture the warrior class, but they don't nurture the boys, they nurture their careers. But then they get shocked. But then they say women don't have nobody to marry up to. So guess what? Men don't have nobody to marry down to, because most of them are ran through. They're liberally indoctrinated, and they don't respect masculine authority. And men don't care about your degrees and your money. Men care about you being feminine, cooperative, respecting them, loving them. Love for a man is respect, and they don't get it.
Not working and not looking, and it's something like 7 million men in this country
11 million unfilled
very
jobs.
content to stay home with the Xbox.
Yep. Yeah.
That's not attractive to a woman.
No.
Women do like achievement. You know?
And you ever know they always talk about what women want, but they never ask what men want. You ever notice these conversations with these libertarians, these liberals? They don't never ask about what men want. They always ask about what women want. And that's a fundamental flaw. You got to ask men what they want also in these relationships, and stop asking women. You got to ask men what they want as well, because men got desires and standards too.
They like, you know, and
listen, this is not like the guy said earlier. This is not a black man thing. This is an American male issue. They've just checked out. I think Gen Z have checked out. I know your boys are Gen Z. Do you think your boys are part of this cohort, meaning they checked out, or they date casually?
They ain't in no rush for nothing. Wow. Like that. I'll put it like that. They're not in a rush. They're taking their time. They're not in a rush. I don't put any pressure on them to be in any rush to get in relationships either.
Right.
At the end of the day, this is a different world that we live in.
It's a different world.
If you listen to the ideology and the mindset, everything that they're talking about is what's wrong with men.
Right. I totally agree.
When you have women that come up in this environment, it's almost like they'll have a complex about themselves that they can do no wrong, and that everything is going to be blamed on the men anyhow. So what is the incentive for them to conduct themselves well within a relationship or a marriage if they know that the society that they live in doesn't hold women accountable for nothing? They can just be, that increases the amount of humiliation rituals. Men know that these women are raised in this environment. You're just going to have a bunch of men being disrespected, even if they were married to these women. And people like Bill will get out here and defend these women no matter what. So it is what it is.
That's a matriarchal culture whole time.
Not just the money, it's also just feeling like this person has ambition. They're moving towards something. They have joy in their life. I imagine if you are sitting in front of a screen all day playing video games, online betting, you have no goals, you don't get, dressed. I don't imagine someone like to be very happy. And so if you're dating, I mean, somebody that's probably not even dating, but if they were, you don't really have as much to talk about.
But so many women are going out with guys like that. Is that because there's just nobody else?
I think so. I think in maybe some cases those women may feel like they can help this person or want to, but in time, I really think that just leads to resentment over time. Or it's because like the messaging from society is, women are doing so great, that's okay. You can be the primary breadwinner. You can take care of this man. He doesn't need to take care of you. That's sexist if you want a man to take care of you. I see a lot of that in young women. I feel really badly for them because I don't see that ending well. Because especially if you as a woman continue succeeding in life, which you likely will, because like you said, women are doing so well occupationally and in education, and they're out graduating men. And if you're with a guy like this who, if he's struggling with his mental health, say he has low testosterone, say he's got, say he's watching porn every day, multiple times a day, so he has no motivation to do anything sexual or otherwise, I mean, that's not going to be a very good future for either of you.
I have seen in more than one movie, I can't think of what they are now, not big movies, but movies, where there was this plot point where there's a couple, and the husband, I think they're married. He's not really working because he wants to make his dream of being in the band work. Mm-hmm. He's got a band, and he's mad at the wife who's like hocking him to like get off your ass and get a job, do something that you don't believe in me. The band.
Let me tell you something, brother. This thing is demonic. It's been psychological. It's psyop.
Listen to the programming that he's saying. The stuff coming out of his mouth.
Right. It's been psyoped And it's by design. It's by design to disenfranchise boys and to empower the women. And then they look confused or they look shocked when men check out. What man will participate in a system where the odds are already against him in the first place?
Yeah, that's they don't get it, and they don't understand why for that particular political party that he represents, nobody wants to be a part of it anymore. And it's just this constant bashing of men and this defining of men as these bums and losers and basement dwellers. Nobody wants to vote for them. Nobody wants to be around them. And that's this is just, they don't, every day they talk like this, another young man leaves that particular fold. And it's like, oh, enough. We see what happened at the church. The young men left the church. The men left the church because of this nonsense that Bill is talking. Always going down, punching on men, beating men up, disrespecting men. And I think the only solution that I talked about it before is to walk away in silence.
Yeah,
do your own thing, chase excellence for yourself on your own. Leave that situation alone. Just if you can't win, you can't defeat them. Just leave them alone. Speak in silence. You're not going to change them.
You're not. Maybe when the aliens land, they'll change.
Well,
maybe.
I think the economy is going to change them. I tell you what happens now, because even with this rhetoric that he's talking, it doesn't take much for men to survive and thrive out here. I mean, even me, I drive used cars that are paid off.
Yep, same here.
I ain't worried about no car note, no high insurance and all that other nonsense. We can 5 years ain't gonna do nothing to us.
Right.
But 5 years in this economy, with all these government programs going and this automation and job replacement, let them worry about this when they can't find no man that wants to be with them and share or split bills. It's a taste of that shit.
Well, some of them gonna be grateful for a man to split bills with them.
They're so insufferable, nobody can even split bills with them.
Right. The way the economy is now, some of them they're gonna be grateful the men split bills, man, because you got families that they can't even afford to live. Hold tight. And I know you got to go in a minute, but let me finish playing a little bit of this. Hold on.
The band's gonna work, man. We're good. And if they put it in movies, I always feel like it must be true. That's how I know everything about children. I don't have children. I work very hard to never be around a child, but I see what it looks like from every single movie and television show, and it always looks the same, like a nightmare, like a total nightmare, where the kids don't respect the parents. They're yelling at them. They're cursing at them. They're doing things where my mother would just fucking kill me, So it must be true. And I feel like this must be true because they keep putting this into movies.
Well, at least that guy in the movie has a band, right? At least he's working towards something. He's not just sitting around doom scrolling all day long.
I feel like a band may be even worse because it gives you hope.
The false, yeah.
It gives you hope. And, your band is not, could it? Yes, anything could happen.
But, the other thing I would say is because there are fewer viable bachelors for women, there comes a point where a woman, she does want.
All right, so I hear you laughing. So listen, it's not that there are fewer viable. See, this woman and many others keep selling sexual, social market value. But men can argue and say the same thing because men don't care about degrees and money. Men care about virginity, low body counts, no kids. And that's why I said when people tell black men to go back or white men to go fight and report the duty, it's a dumb concept. Because the world still don't understand what men want fundamentally, man. They don't understand what men want. They don't even care about what men want. But they're quick to say they're not enough viable men. Well, they're not enough viable women either. Because a large majority of them are random. Why did you laugh at that, man? I heard you laugh. Go ahead.
I laugh at it because they're just out of touch. They're completely out of touch with what's going on with men. And and that's the sad part about it. They're just creating one narrative of something that does not exist in reality. There's plenty of men. It's just that for those women, they think that they're better than the men, even from a physical perspective. That average woman thinks she's 10 times leagues ahead of the average man. And because of the delusion of social media, these basking weaving degrees that some of them have, and this this culture itself that boosts them every day, they have just overvalued themselves. And that's the problem they're having right now. And I think that's what is being checked right now with this economy. And it's just fascinating to hear how they exist in a realm of their own, man. This is like they're in like utopian Pluto somewhere. It's just, these young men are just going to keep walking away. They're not going to marry these women. They'd rather go overseas and be passport bros or go somewhere else and they just cannot deal with them. You know?
I agree. And sadly, brother, it's going to only get worse. I'm going to play a little bit more of this. I'm going to let you run. Hold tight.
Have kids, she has to choose. Either I have to pick from the available pool, which may mean I'm going to be with a guy whom it's not really ideal, but I can have a child with him, or she can go on her own. And I talk about reproductive technology in the book and how it gives this false premise of, like, I think if people want to do IVF, they want to freeze their eggs, that's perfectly fine, that's their choice. But I think it's important for people to be aware of what do these technologies actually involve, the fact that they do not have a 100% success rate. And I think also young women are taught to ignore biology or that they can somehow override their biology, which is not true. And so this is what you have happening where women will get into, their late 30s or into their even early 40s and be surprised when their fertility is not the same because they weren't aware of this. And now they're trying to find a partner. So this is where you see also in the culture where I think women get shamed for that, but I don't think it's necessarily their fault. It's like society's telling them you have all the time in the world, starting at teenage years when you're on the birth control pill, when you're put on the pill, say for other reasons than being sexually.
So somehow they're blaming that on men. What man is telling women they got plenty of time? Yeah, I don't know no man telling women that they got plenty of time, but I do know women telling women they got plenty of time. How would you respond to that?
Everything is going to be blamed on men. There's nothing else. Like that's the motto right now for the society. Blame men, kick men in the back, always men's fault. It doesn't matter what these women do. It's the man. And it's worse than matriarchal culture.
I don't know this person on your channel, not Peaceful Life. That's not true. They said according to statistics, black women are better than men. Okay, well, and they don't talk about. They always equate educated black women with all black women. All black women are not educated.
But it doesn't matter whether they're educated or not. They all drink from the same pond of arrogance and disrespect. So it doesn't matter. The uneducated, the educated, it doesn't matter which one they are. They don't respect the men in the community. It doesn't matter whether you're a respectable man or all. A woman sitting on the bus stop, catching the bus, will disrespect the black man driving by in a Bentley. It don't make a difference.
Don't make a difference. I totally agree. Hold tight. Let me finish playing this real quick.
There's this illusion that women have as much time as they want. And then they get to this point where if they have found someone now that single motherhood by choice is becoming more popular, where women can, like I did as an experiment, you can go on the internet and buy, I didn't use it, but you can buy sperm on the internet and impregnate yourself and have a baby on your own. And so this is what I see happening, that both the sexes are going to continue bifurcating. And instead of saying, hey, let's try to make things work and find solutions that are actually solving this problem of people not pairing up, we're seeing women going this direction of saying, we don't need men. In fact, having a boyfriend is embarrassing or whatever. And I'm going to have a baby on my own with technology.
Embarrassing.
And men are saying, I'm going to get me a sex robot and be done with dating.
Having a boyfriend is not embarrassing. It is gay. It's very
it's
gay.
Terminally online, as you said.
You saw that?
I don't say, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very gay to have a boyfriend these days. I think so. I mean that in a positive way. But can I say something that I think would be encouraging? Mm-hmm. Because we're talking about a lot of things that are, frankly, discouraging. But we're honest. Honesty is always better than non-honesty. But for all the women in their 30s who are like, and I've just seen so many freakouts, like, oh my God, I'm 30. Oh gosh, call 911. Really? I'm 70.
Women
Shut
are really
the
hard on
fuck up.
themselves.
And they're very hard, and they're freaked out about this thing, and what it is, as you said, the pool of people who are going to be attracted to you. When you delve down into it, because I think we often have thoughts and we delve down. Why are we having these thoughts? Why are you freaking out about 30? Okay, let's look at it. What it really.
So let me ask you this question before I let you go. Why do you think so many men stop caring about what women want? When did that happen? When did you stop caring?
I think I've been stopped caring a long time ago, because the point is, maybe once you recognize and you understand that systematically how they have programmed us into this traditional mindset of putting women first, of serving women, without any thoughts of what is good for us or any expectation of traditionalism or reciprocation or anything else like that.
Right.
You either get into a self-preservative mindset or you're going to get destroyed out here in this culture. So I've been around, with law enforcement. I've seen the domestics. I've seen the family court problems. I've seen the issues. I've seen men take their own lives. I've seen all these things, men who were raised in this system to put everybody else first before themselves. And I sort of and a system that teaches the other people to be self-preservatives, to take care of themselves, to put themselves first, to take. And we've seen men that have had their life, the soul, just the energy, their whole soul drained out of them, and just go to the grave early, prematurely, poor health,
right?
Especially Black men working themselves to death. And that alone lets you know, if you play the game by the way they want you to play it, the program they have set for you,
right,
that your life on this earth will be nothing more than a sacrificial animal.
Right. And that's why
miserable there. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. You're 100% correct. And that's why I said peaceful life. Black men have been conditioned to see things through the lens of undoing, unhealthy undoing. And when men give their masculinity away for free, they're not even serving God, they're serving women. And so when Dante Whitfield said this, not only is his systematic worldview incorrect, but his theological worldview is incorrect, because men are never supposed to compromise. And his psychological worldview is incorrect, because men are never supposed to sacrifice their male sovereignty for women that don't belong to them. You can't belong to a man if you dishonoring them. You're giving your virtue away to multiple men, and you think that's because you make more money than a man that you're better than a man. But yet when men say we don't want to be with you because you've been ran through, or you got a bunch of kids, or you're overweight, then all of a sudden we're misogynistic. So it's a very what I call mental masturbation, man, and it's crazy to say the least. But before I let you go, man, why voluntary servitude never works? What you got out of the conversation, man?
Because it never asks the fundamental question: are the people that you're serving worthy of your service? Right. We're not talking about the people that you're responsible for, like kids or anything like that. There's no standard that's being put on the women in the community or anybody else in the society. It's only a one standard system, where the men have to raise to a certain level of standards, but we don't hold women accountable for nothing. So for me, it's like responsibility without authority. It's like anything else. If you want to hold men to certain traditional standards and expectations, then you need to hold women to those same standards. And any system that doesn't do that is a system that's set up for a man as a fool and as a disposable tampon, and to be used and abused and disrespected and disregarded.
Yep, I totally agree 100%. Any other closing comments, man? What were any main things you got out of the show? The number one thing you got that resonated the most?
I think the most important thing is how men, really, when you broke it down with your charts, how men themselves have internalized a lot of trauma and a lot of issues that need to be helped, that need therapy, many of them. Not just therapy. Be careful with the therapist. Got to get a masculine therapist, my brother over here, kosher clinician.
Yes, sir.
Be careful who you talk to, because they'll lead you further down the pathway of becoming a jellyback. Be careful who you talk to. I think, to be honest with you, man, you're not going to defeat them with rhetoric. You're not going to defeat them with anger or rage. When they make comments, when they say disrespectful things, you know what you do? It's like anything else. When you go out to the park and they talking crap to you about playing basketball, you take your ball and leave. Especially if it's the only ball at the park, and they don't want to give you your run, or they don't want to talk shit to you and use your ball, and you can't get into the game. You take your ball, put it in your bag, and you head on down the street. Hopefully you don't get beat up, but that's a whole other story.
And listen, using your logic and your reason and your spatial reasoning, meaning you and I can project what's going to happen. What do you project is going to happen, man, in the next 5 to 10 years? 5 to 10, go about 5 years. What do you project?
I project in the next 5 years hyperinflation. I project prices going up. I project that the Republicans going to win again. And I project that all of these social and government programs are going to put a tremendous strain. You're going to look at smaller government. You're going to look at certain situations where it's going to cause these women are going to need the financial support because of automation and AI taking jobs. The bailouts that they used to get from certain social programs. The economy is going to be expensive. Housing costs is not going down. The economy is going to force relationships, because when you can't get all these programs in DEI, you're going to turn to men. You have to turn. They have no other choice. But the problem is not under the conditions that men would want, because you don't want to be with anybody that was not raised to be with a man. What the hell would you want to be living in a house with some wild, heavy biting hyena? You're going to get your ass tore up. So it's going to be relationships, in my opinion, under duress. But the situation financially is that women cannot afford to be single out here. Some guy can live in a freaking cabin in the woods. We could be skinning our sharpening our knives and making our tools and throwing spears at deer and shit. Women can't do that. And well, they can, but I'm saying more highly unlikely. But I think the economy itself, we're going to see a lot more religious rebranding. I think since guys like Klay Thompson is destroying hope, I think they want to double down on religion. And that Hail Mary play, religion, what's that play?
Go ahead.
You know, was it when Seattle, when he had that play at the 1 yard line? When what's his Marshawn Lynch?
Or Marshawn Lynch, right.
Yeah. They're gonna be doing a lot of Hail Marys because religion is going to be you only have religion. What else you have unless to try to muscle men? The boxing working because most of them are selling it. And I hate to say it, there's going to be a lot of religion double and a lot of increase in flex workers and a lot of increase because I'm telling you, all that feminism wasn't built for this type of environment without government support. Without government support, you notice you don't see much feminist talk out here.
Right.
It's the money.
Yeah.
The money is going to dictate things, and these women are going to get this tired of paying these high costs of living. So they're going to Afro-Tech already. They're hunting down these simps. They're hunting down these brothers or hunting down these men. They're going to be hunting for men. That UPS driver driving by, he's got a bullseye on his back.
Yep.
So that's what I see. I don't see the future. You see, they're going to these dating events. I see stable man with strong income, stable income as the future target right now in this economy.
Yep. No, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. And listen, like I said before, shout out to the great women that love their husbands. They respect us. They respect their fathers, and they take care of the boys. They take care of the children in the community. I salute those women. But these rebellious women that don't offer anything but mouth and disrespect. Listen, the way you change behavior sometimes peaceful life, and sometimes it's by not doing nothing. That's how you change behavior. That's how you model masculinity. Sometimes you have to sit back. You know, there was an old song by Kenny Rogers. He said, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. And so masculinity never concedes when it's not incentivized. True masculinity never gives its power away for free. It demands something in return. The only time you give your unconditional servitude is when the women in your community honor you, respect you, obey you, follow your leadership, and they are supporting you just like you're supporting them. But to give it away for free is like a woman giving her body away for free and not expect the man to put a ring on the finger. And you see what's happening with that. She ain't getting married, man. But anyway, man, listen, I know you got to get your sleep, man.
Yeah, peace out, man. I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, brother. Be good, bro. Thank you, man. Yes, sir. All right. All right, shout out to my man, Justin Moore. That was my man, Peaceful Life, guys, and we're going to end it. And thank you for that, 10. Thanks for the information. Listen, and do me a favor, Justin. If you really like what I'm doing, man, share the content, share the stream. And, guys, we're going to end. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Do me a favor, guys. I need everybody to hype this video. If y'all hype this video, it's going to get to other young men and also to good women. If you hype this video. Hype this video, guys, so it can get to other young men and also righteous women. But we need you to, hold tight. We need you to hype the video. So hype it. And, guys, we're going to end the show. Thank you, guys, for tuning in. Happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful women. that are change agents, and they respect men, they respect the boys, they respect the daughters, and they're looking for real change, not fake change, but real change. So we're going to end it on this note, guys. I'll see you guys soon.
Nigga ass, loser ass nigga.
Your video with comments about a
He's a
certain
loser.
other female.
Just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need you.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings. And most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You can't.
If you a that's for the streets.
You can't delete the ski. You can't delete the ski.
When men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over.
My perfect man would be a tall black stallion. He loves to cook because I'm not really a good cook, so that's his thing. He loves driving. He loves driving the kids to school in the morning. He's just really, really hands-on, with my kids. He's sterile because he can't have kids of his own, so he really cherishes mine. He's funny. We do movie quotes all the time. Every time we go around, we just laugh and do karaoke. He's smart. He is very good with the money. He takes care of all that, and he just lets me, make the beds. And
Fall comes to us in its own time. Fighters, keepers, losers, we.
Follow me, baby. The elders are old and out of touch. I have the power to help you become the better version of yourself. Listen to me. I know what's best for you. I am the Snake Whisperer. Fire! For your mind. The Kosherclinician.
If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues. Absent fathers who miss you. Mama drama don't kiss you. All a part of the ritual. This is how they get you. Separate the men, women, clipping babies pretend to. Damn. Lovers, haters, acting like vultures. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is Kosherclinician. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosherclinician. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosherclinician. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosherclinician. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen.